Good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin, and I'm lumbering in.
Beautiful morning, isn't it?
Truly believing that we're going to spend 2 hours talking about Scotty Scheffler. Oh no, he wants to talk about the Capitals. That's right. He wants to talk about the Washington Capitals.
What time are we having this creep on, by the way?
Eric Hosmer?
Yeah.
He's coming on in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait,
I can't.
I tell you what.
I got to tell you. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. If you want to come back in at 10:20, it'll be okay.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm a little. He was 6 when it happened.
I was 13. 14.
I don't know that you were.
Yeah.
You should know better than
I
this.
mean, you
waving the towel in the dugout like a moron.
like a moron.
Triple into the right field corner on Marquez.
Wow, you remember an awful lot
who
about
was
it.
falling asleep out there.
You know what's funny? I remember.
Nick, the ball just landed. Go get it.
Straight shoot. I remember almost nothing about that series. Like once.
I remember, what was the pitcher? Was it Wade Davis?
Wade Davis.
We couldn't
yeah.
get a hit off of him?
Wade Davis, 100%.
It wasn't Hosmer who hit the triple, though, right? It was Alex Gordon.
I think that's right.
Who
I think
dumped that ball into into absolute Bermuda Triangle?
Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, and Zach Britton came in, and don't worry, because when he comes in,
I've blocked out.
Nobody gets a hit. And then whoever was it Hosmer that hit the home run, or was it Gordon?
I don't remember.
I've blocked out so much of that.
Look this up, Garrett.
I don't remember.
When I saw we were having him on, I'm like, are you kidding me?
You got to settle down, man. You got to settle down. This is going to be like remembering the Rangers series from last year at some point. I already don't remember any actual
We lost all
detail.
3.
Correct. That's what it is.
And Brandon Hyde should have bunted in like the 4th inning and forgot he was the manager. And then
maybe, but I don't remember it.
I remember it all.
I don't remember. I swear I remember nothing about the Royals series. It's just all like there was no hope. There was no. Very quickly you realize like, oh, this ain't going the right way.
There was hope in Game 1.
In Game 1, yeah. Wasn't that a Friday? I think I remember
it was a
being
Friday.
Night.
Yeah, I left
was
like
Game
school
1.
early. It was awesome.
And I just don't. I swear I have blocked everything out over the course of the last decade. Like everything about that series is.
All right, let's talk about the
that
Masters.
season ended when Delman. We got to do baseball.
Or the Caps.
You're very excited. I get.
Oh.
By the way, he came in here screaming, ranting, and raving about Eric Hosmer and got tired out after 30 seconds.
Caps,
after 30
baby.
seconds, he said,
Caps,
I need something else. So now he wants to talk about the Washington Capitals, who he'll get tired out of after another 30 seconds. We're not talking about the Washington Capitals.
But here's the worst thing that happened last night. It would have been so much better if the Red Wings wouldn't have scored, and then we would have completely eliminated them on our own. Instead, the Red Wings scored with 3 seconds left,
I didn't really
which spoiled the whole thing.
So I don't follow because I don't care about the Washington Capitals, but I was reading about this, that like the Flyers pulled their goalie even though it was tied because they believed they needed to score one more goal. They had to win.
They knew they needed to win in regulation, and they knew that Detroit couldn't get a point. So if Detroit loses in Montreal and the Flyers win, then the Flyers just need the Penguins to lose tonight, and the Flyers make the playoffs. So everything's going great. Montreal is winning the entire game. And as the clock goes, the real clock goes,
right.
It's 9:34 p.m. It's 1-1, Caps Flyers, and it's 4-3 Montreal at 9:34 p.m. Tortorella pulls the goalie, thinking he needs to score.
Got to.
I personally thought he did it way too early, but that's neither here nor there. He pulls the goalie at 9:35. At 9:30, 6:30, Detroit, there's a face-off in their Montreal zone with 7 seconds left. The game's over. All Montreal has to do is win the face-off. And there's a scrum in the corner, and that's it, folks, from Montreal.
Right.
Final Canadians for they lose the face-off. The Red Wings score with 3 seconds to go, and the Flyers season's over. Meanwhile, the goalie's pulled.
Right. So all you got to do is
now the goalie's pulled, and so the Flyers are already done. Now the Caps they're playing, and no one knows this, of course, because it's all happening in real time. But now the Caps have an empty net to shoot at.
You might as well put the goalie back in.
But they didn't have a chance.
Correct.
The Caps score. Flyers now keep the goalie out because now they're trying.
Right. Now they want to win.
Now I'm pissed off at the Capitals.
Right.
It was so good.
Well,
I felt really bad for the Flyers.
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did. Well, there you go. That's your hockey update for the day. That's what
I might go to New York. I can't go this weekend, but I might go up to New York for a game if they could extend it.
Okay. God love you. God love.
I mean, it's our hockey team.
It's not our hockey team. It can be yours, and that's fine.
Well,
I
it's
got
the only
no
one we
beef
have.
with it. We don't have it.
We
don't.
we
have-
don't.
No.
Well, why are we talking about
I
them?
don't know. You love them. God bless you. I'm not mad at you.
It's my favorite
It's
team
what
ever.
you're into. That's fine. I'm not mad about it. I'm over that too, by the way.
Ovi needs 42 goals.
Well, the way he was playing for a little while there,
Yeah.
it looked
He
like he
needs
was going to get it this
Well,
season.
you heard what happened, right? He went to Dubai.
Oh, okay. All right.
He went to Dubai at the
he had
All-Star
some sort
break.
of procedure.
I don't know what
Hey,
happened.
man, whatever.
But I know he scored 24 goals after that.
He's got like goat's blood running.
But they're all talking about going to Dubai.
I'm thinking about going to Dubai. Jesus.
Huh.
All right,
Did
today's
you
show.
see any, by the way?
Stop for a second.
No,
No, I have to do a commercial.
Oh, Lord.
Stop. Today's show
Yep.
is brought to you by the Green,
Green Turtle.
Griffin.
Sports
What's
book.
going on
Every
at the-
Thursday, free bet at the Green Turtle. Come on out.
It's very close.
That's
Very
pretty much spot on. Free $10 bet every
Free
Thursday
$10 bet.
over at the Green
Come on out and
Turtle.
learn how to
Let him do the commercial.
learn how to bet.
God.
Yeah, Jeremy Conn might be there. Towson and Canton, they now have sports betting. You get free $10 bets every Thursday at the Green Turtles. You can use that on whatever you would like and experience the ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. So go check out the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Pick up your free bet and make some money while enjoying some food and some sports tomorrow night at the Turtle.
All right. Now, what did you want to say?
What was it?
All right, never mind.
No. Just it was something. It was somewhat important. It had something to do with sports.
Well, now that's a change. Why would you start that now?
We were talking about we were on the Capitals
yes,
for a
we
second.
did that for a minute.
Then we got to something.
We got to something. I don't know. All right. So, man of the match last night.
Oh
got
no,
it.
I know what it was. Did you see the Netflix? Did you see the Manchester City? There's a name for it. Did you see the All or Nothing? That's what it was called. The All or Nothing on Manchester City. Did you watch that?
I did not.
This was from like this was the year they needed to win one more to win the treble, and they didn't.
Okay.
Whatever year that was. So
Okay.
it might not have been the COVID year, because the COVID year was the year that they followed along Marino, and he was with who? Man City or Man United?
You're
Who's
asking.
Jose Marino
But
with?
Mike, he came in
yeah,
today with
United.
NHL and Premier League.
Okay, so
being
hold on.
his topics. When
Anyway.
the Orioles won last night.
Well, who cares?
This is what I have to deal with.
The
A Premier League story from years ago.
well, the
That's
show,
what he's got.
the show just came out. They went to Dubai. The
Was
whole
he with
reason
Tottenham at the time? He might
the
have been
whole
with
reason I
Tottenham at the
brought
time.
this up. What?
Was he with Tottenham at the time?
No, it was Manchester. It was Manchester.
So this was
United.
2018 then.
The year of the Netflix thing with Jose Marino, it was the COVID year. I know that because Marino told the team there was no more practice. Whatever year that was. What year was he the coach in 1920?
He was with Tottenham.
Okay, so then it was Tottenham. I told you that. All right. So Manchester City went to Dubai because they're owned by.
So it was a Tottenham All or Nothing. It was.
That's what I said.
Okay. Yeah.
You said it was Man United. Or no, I said
just
it was
just
Man
get
United.
to the point, for God's sakes. Oh my God!
We were both wrong.
I can't do this. Jesus.
I was just making a point about Dubai
Were you?
and how pretty it is.
Yeah. Is that what you got?
That's all I wanted to say.
That's what you had?
They took the team to They took Manchester City to Dubai because they're owned by the Saudis.
Yes. Yes.
And anyway,
yeah.
you've ruined it for me.
Drew, where was it going?
It was
What
just,
were we getting from this?
It was just very pretty, and they had these huge fruit trays out
Okay, well,
every
that
morning.
sounds great.
And it dawned on me as I'm watching it. I'm like, this is why Manchester City wins.
Yeah, it's the fruit trays. Let's go to
well,
Dubai.
it's not.
All right, we
It's
can't
just
do.
the whole thing about you in the middle of the season, in the middle of the English soccer season when it's
Yes.
freezing. Coventry stays home. Crystal Palace stays home. These ragamuffin teams stay home. They sent Manchester City to Dubai
Okay.
to eat fruit.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
and that's why they win.
Oh my God. That's what you prepared. That's what you had. Is because they eat fruit in Dubai.
It was a huge fruit tray.
What the F is going going on?
Just telling you.
What happened to you?
All right.
What?
I didn't
What?
get any sleep.
Clearly, you came in today with they eat fruit in Dubai.
Nice fruit.
I'm
though.
sure it's lovely.
These huge grapes and
Cantaloupe,
pineapple.
maybe some honeydew mixed in.
I'm not a cantaloupe guy.
Oh, I'm a big melon.
Are you really?
enjoy
Oh,
it.
watch yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Clip that.
I do enjoy.
Cut
I
that
got no
clip.
problem. Well, I got no problem with that.
Cut that
You
clip
think
real
that's going to be
quick.
embarrassing to me that I enjoy big melons? You think that's going to be
Cut
a
that
problem?
clip.
They're gonna. Oh boy, I don't want to be associated with big melons. That sounds terrible.
Cut that clip.
Love big melons. All in on big melons.
All right.
That's good to see you, I guess. I don't know what else there is to say. We'll get the
It's
man
been
of
a
the
wild
match.
week.
We'll get to the. Has it?
Yeah.
feel
I mean,
like
for
it's been
me.
that- Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe not for you. You're. I wouldn't call you
How's Calvert
boring,
Hall?
but you.
How's Calvert?
Well, we're 3-0. We haven't played in 2 weeks,
Oh, what's
so
that
we're
all
playing
about?
because we were away on spring break. We had a rain out last week. I don't want to talk about that because the other team didn't want to come. And we're playing today, tomorrow, and Friday. So we got 3 games. We got 3
You
days.
sure
in a row.
you're playing today?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we are going to play today unless it lightnings.
Oh, is
I
there?
don't think it's going to lightning. It's just going to be rainy. But we
Okay.
are playing today.
All right, fair enough. And you worried about
the schedule's changed. I mean,
What?
the radar's changed.
what's it changed to?
Nothing. 1 o'clock.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, what about for the Orioles game? Is that
But it looks fine.
okay?
1
all right.
o'clock.
I'm going to the game today.
1 o'clock drizzle, but like nothing crazy.
No problem. I'll go sit inside. I'm sitting on the club level today. Look at that upgrade for
Ever
your boy
since
today.
you guys joined that country club.
Yeah, I'm telling you, life has changed, man. Country club member, walking around. Life is good.
Excuse me, you have any napkins?
Life is, my kids.
Excuse me, Winston.
My kids.
Excuse me, Winston. Do you have a straw?
My kids treat the country club like it's their playground.
Oh,
Like
which-
that they're supposed to be there. They don't know
All right.
yet.
Did I tell you one time, Lucy? My bill came at the end of the month, and I go through my bill.
Yeah.
Like if you, no disrespect to anybody who's a country club guy, but if you don't go through your bill, you're cheating yourself.
All right.
Because there's all
Yeah,
kinds of
somebody.
crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
somebody could
Lucy
get in
had
there.
16 ice creams on there.
Of course she did. Of course.
I said,
she did.
Lucy,
Yeah.
I
this
have
is-
16
I
ice
still have to pay
creams
for
on
these.
my bill. She
She
said,
thinks
yeah, I
that-
bought all the girls
she
on the
thinks
swim
that-
team an ice
she
cream.
thinks they're
I'm like,
free.
no, you didn't buy them an
Correct.
ice
I
cream.
did.
I did.
All right, joining us this morning here on GCR. Yeah, this is painful because it brings back memories of 2014.
Why would you have done this with him?
Settle down. But this
He
man,
beat us almost single-handedly.
I'm aware, but he had a hell of a career, and now he is moving on from baseball and getting into the world of media with Moonball Media. It's a pleasure to welcome Eric Hosmer to the program this morning. Eric, it's Glenn and Drew here in Baltimore. Really appreciate you spending some time with us. Thanks for doing this morning.
Yeah, I appreciate you fellas having me on.
Yeah,
This is tough, Hosmer. You know that, right? After what you did to us in the championship series.
Hey, I tell you what. This is so funny because every time we go back to Baltimore, you know, there's a fan on the third base side that would have this huge life-size picture of me, and it's when I was in 7th grade. I was a little chunky. I had the puka shells, the braces, and it says Hosmer is way past his prime. And I'm like, man. I go, why are they picking me out of everybody, you know? Because you had Moustakis, Gordon, all these guys hitting homers off you guys, but apparently he just had it out for me, and I'm like, man, I didn't do the damage that series. That was the other guys.
Right.
I might need to track that guy down and get that for the studio. Actually, moving forward. Hey, Eric, I want to talk some. Before we get to baseball, I do want to give you this opportunity. You end up retiring and quickly making this jump into the world of media. Tell us about Moonball Media and why this was the direction that you wanted to go.
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to continue to give back to the baseball world. You know, obviously that's a huge part of my life, and I feel like I owe a lot of that towards baseball. So being done with the playing days, you know, a lot of the guys that are newly retired always say, you know, stay in tune with the game. Don't go too far if you want to eventually get back into the game. So, you know, this was my way of staying in the game. I've always wanted to kind of share the game from my perspective. I wanted to share certain players' stories with fans. I wanted to share certain insight with fans on how I see the game, you know, and I see a lot of other sports that are starting to do that, in NFL and NBA, and I think baseball is kind of late to that party, but I'm excited to get that going. I'm excited to continue to have this fun back and forth with fans all over, and just continue to talk ball with everyone throughout the world.
And we're going to continue to. Unfortunately, we're also going to have to continue to hate you, Eric. I hope you understand that, even as you make this jump, until we get you to tell us that the Orioles are going to win the World Series. Then we can change things entirely. Yeah, on YouTube, you can find the Diggin' Deep podcast, which is a part of Moonball Media, and we'll link it up on our Twitter account at Glenn Clark Radio for you to check it out. Eric, it's funny we reference 2014, right? Because I'm starting to think that maybe 10 years later, there might be an Orioles-Royals rematch this year in the ALCS. They're playing this weekend.
Yes.
I feel like the Orioles obviously look very legit, but I think we have to start recognizing what's going on in Kansas City again too, right?
Absolutely, and it's funny you bring that up because so I get traded to Boston the second half of 22, and we ended up playing Baltimore. We went to Williamsport. We played them about 3 times before the season ended in that second half. And I went home, and this was, when Baltimore was losing a lot of games, didn't know much about them. I was out in the NL West, wasn't playing them, wasn't seeing them much. After that little second half of the season, I go home and I tell my buddies, I'm like, man, this Baltimore team is for real. The defense they have, the athleticism, they remind me a lot of our 2014-15 teams. And honestly, they could be a lot better because they have that star-studded power. We feel like we didn't have many superstars on that team. It was just a bunch of guys that were grinders, and we were good, and we were playing together. But they got the catcher over there. They got Jackson Holliday. They got some young superstars that can go on with that athleticism and that bullpen. So, honestly, I can definitely see a Kansas City-Baltimore rematch going down. But, man, I was super impressed with everything that Baltimore had done up until that point, and it's no secret now. I think everyone sees how good they are and what they're putting out there on the field.
We look back on 2014, and it's maybe people forget around here, that wasn't the year you guys ended up winning the World Series, right? I wonder how much that did for you guys to go back the following year, like getting there, suffering that heartbreak, as we're looking at an Orioles team that won 100 games last year and then got swept out of the playoffs. How much did it drive you guys to go through that type of heartbreak and then come back a year after that?
It definitely does. It's almost like debuting in the big leagues again. When you play that first playoff game, it happens so fast. The game is honestly, it seems like it's so different. There's always 1 or 2 pitches you feel like that separate the outcome of a big league game, and you take that a step further in the postseason. It's like, man, it's that 2-1 pitch. If they would have called that a ball, or if I would have laid off that, it would have been 3-1. We could have got that inning started. Like, the game is just, each detail of the game is so important. It really is. So that definitely gave us confidence. That year in 2014, we came out of the wild card. That's when Detroit was really, really good, and we couldn't beat them. We were trying everything we could throughout the year. We just could not beat them. And, Baltimore had beaten them the series before, and I think that gave us a huge boost of confidence because it's like, man, we couldn't go through those guys. We couldn't beat those guys, and now Baltimore does it for us, and that was huge. And we got extremely lucky going into Baltimore with no Machado, no Wieters, no Chris Davis. So I think everything just kind of fell alignment with us. That we swept through the whole entire American League. We felt that we were, as good, if not better than the Giants, but Madison Bumgarner had an unbelievable performance. So it really did leave us confident that next year in 2015 when we eventually did win.
Eric, as a guy that I know you grew up loving the game and obviously you played for several different teams, but you got the benefit of playing home games in 2 of the most venerable ballparks ever built, Wrigley Field and Fenway. Is that still, I know your fondest memory is probably the World Series ring, but playing in those 2 buildings has to rank up there as one of your favorite things, right? Like, just that you were a home player in those 2 great cities and you got to play in those 2 stadiums.
Absolutely, and I'm so happy I got to do it on the back end of my career. As an older player, I could appreciate it a lot more. If I'm going in there as some 21-year-old little punk, I don't know if I appreciate it as much as I did on the back end of my career. But, you talk about 2 historic places and 2 completely different vibes. Boston, when you go out there at night and you step out in that field, it's like a cathedral. It's just so perfectly, the monster is so perfectly placed out there. The fans are always packed. It's just an unbelievable atmosphere. And then Wrigley is, that Friday 1 o'clock game is what Wrigley is known for. You're out there, the people are going crazy in the bleachers. And one of my coolest memories of Wrigley was the opening day. It was super cold. and it was about the 5th inning, the sun peeked out. And, I mean, as soon as that sun peeked out amongst that cloud, the fans just went nuts. So 2 complete different atmospheres of fan bases, but 2 huge fan markets that I really enjoyed the experience.
And you always struck me, too, as a guy. I think you would have really prospered in Baltimore with with right field being where it is. Like, I think you would have been a monster in Baltimore if we could have. Now, after 2014,
it was never going to happen, right?
But otherwise, I think you would have liked it in Baltimore.
I would have definitely liked it, and then I think I would have gotten out of there just in time before they moved that left field wall back about 100 feet, raised it about 100. But yeah, Baltimore it was definitely a possibility during 2008 with the draft. Baltimore was picking right behind Kansas City, and there was a lot of rumors of me going to Kansas City, but if I didn't, I felt like Baltimore would have been a place where possibly could have ended up. And, I've always admired Manny and thought that he was super fortunate to come up in an organization like Baltimore because he got to play for Buck Showalter for all those years. And not only Buck, there's a lot of assistant coaches that I then had opportunities to work with, and Wayne Kirby and Bobby Dickerson, 2 teachers of the game that could be huge for an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid during their development. So that's a really, really good organization back then and still is today.
All right, so I know we need to let you go, Eric, but I'm going to put you on the spot because I see that the most recent guest you had on Digging Deep was Bobby Witt Jr. You referenced Adley Rutschman earlier. So speaking of the draft, let's go back a couple of years. The Orioles go Rutschman 1, the Royals go Witt 2. Who got the better of that? Who's got the better centerpiece of their franchise?
I mean, at that point, flip a coin, right? You don't really need a scout to identify who's going 1 and 2 there. But, man, I tell you what, I haven't had the opportunity to talk to Adley, and I've gotten to see him on the field, and he's incredible. But after being able to talk to Bobby Witt Jr. and seeing him and what his athleticism, what his talent does on the field, the overall makeup goes with that talent, and it is if not more impressive, is just as impressive as his talent on the field. So couldn't be happier for a fan base that I'm connected with in Kansas City that gets to be their superstar for the next 15 years or whatever it is.
You can check out Digging Deep on YouTube. We've linked it up, and of course Moonball Media. Eric Hosmer. It's conflicted, but we're happy for you. Incredible career that you had, man, and looking forward to seeing as you continue along on this side of it. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad we got through that, boys.
Thanks, Eric. Eric Hosmer with us here on GCR.
It's always painful when they turn out to be decent guys.
Oh, yeah, you hate that, right? Yeah. Except for you, because you always rooted for that creep in Boston, your favorite pitcher of all time.
He beat the Yankees by himself.
I'm aware.
Remember?
I'm aware. He also beat the Orioles a lot.
That's because we were terrible.
At the time, so did everybody else.
Right, that's because we were terrible.
So did everybody else.
So Golden State's out of the playoffs.
Yes, they're out of the playoffs. There he is. That's our guy. Just whatever crosses his mind, it's coming out of his mouth.
It crossed my mind last night.
That's the way it goes.
+4.5.
Oh,
yeah.
You were riding with him.
Jeez, a whiz.
Klay Thompson looked good.
0 for 10.
Jesus.
0 for 10.
It's awful. I mean, like open shots.
So Golden State's out.
Yes,
but how
out.
come New Orleans isn't out?
So the New Orleans, you rank them. The Lakers were the 9 seed. New Orleans was the 8 seed.
Okay.
So the 8 and the 9 play each other. The winner becomes, the 7 and the 8. The winner becomes the 7 seed.
So the Lakers are in.
They're in as the 7 seed.
In.
Now
no more games.
They're in. They play the Nuggets
now,
which is all that nonsense about maybe they should be better off losing and trying to become. So now the Pelicans will play the Kings
Sacramento.
for the right to be the 8th seed.
And Golden State's out.
Right. So you're in the first game, you win once.
Gotcha.
You're in the second game, you got to win twice. That's the way that it goes.
Can't believe the league didn't want Steph Curry in the
I know. They wouldn't even rig it for him. Well, they might have tried, but Klay Thompson had other ideas.
Yeah, right.
Klay Thompson was like, there's this thing. I don't want to play anymore. Over. It's over, man. It's bad. All right, so a couple of thoughts there. I want to go back to that question that I asked because our friend Stan Charles recently said, I think that I'm at the point where I'm ready to say the Orioles got that one wrong.
Well, I mean, okay, but would they have taken Gunnar? Would they have maybe they did get it wrong, but and you know what's funny about catchers, and you you sort of kind of equate them to running backs a little bit. Their shelf life doesn't seem to be as long. Well, now, the difference is a running back's a running back's a running back. A catcher doesn't have to be a catcher his whole career. He can go play first base. He can be a DH. So it is different. But I think the overall value of a catcher is nowhere near, nowhere near the overall value of a shortstop. They're just not the same. Robinson Chirinos can catch for you. James McCann can catch for
well,
you.
it's
No, I'm not.
I don't know if I agree with that because it's the thing that you can't quantify, right?
I'm saying that as it relates to the difference between if they had to do it all over again,
right?
Mike Elias would say, James McCann can catch. We'll just take Bobby Witt. Like, you can go get a catcher. So
I don't know that they would say that.
I don't know.
In fact, I would go almost the opposite way, which is that every time every private conversation, a couple that were public, every private conversation I've had has said the most important player on the team. Here's a straight shoot. You ask, I think Brandon Hyde said this publicly. I think I'm okay with it. I did. I asked Brandon Hyde at one point, expecting a diplomatic, I'll just name everybody answer. Who's the one person that played the most pivotal role in this franchise turning around? Who was the one person most responsible for the? And I thought what he was going to say was, well, Adley and Gunnar, and he would just start naming all of them because that's what guys do when you give them a question like that. He, with no hiccup, with no thought about it whatsoever, said it was Robinson Chirinos. Robinson Chirinos was the single most important. Give me a second.
Okay.
Was the single most important person in turning things around. And he explained it, and he talked about the attitude that he brings. But then he started getting into the value of the catcher, that there is no one more important to the baseball team than the catcher. That unlike other sports where there's a quarterback or there's a point guard or whatever it is that you want to say.
I might agree with that, but I think it can be anyone.
You say that, I don't think that would be backed up by baseball people.
Okay. But I'm saying that also in comparison to, or to answer this question, we'll just take Bobby Witt Jr. and we'll find someone to catch. Versus, we'll take Adley Rutschman and we'll find someone to play shortstop and hit 300.
Well, they did that.
Gotcha, but They didn't know that then.
At the moment, no, of course they didn't.
So the question just is, if you redid the draft today, would you take Bobby Witt Jr. or Adley Rutschman? That's really what you're saying.
Essentially, yes.
And I would submit to you that almost every baseball person would say Bobby Witt Jr. Stan did.
Oh, yeah, but that's Stan. That's one person.
Watch yourself.
That's one person.
No, I think everybody would say Bobby Witt Jr.
I don't know that everybody would.
Okay.
I would.
Well, you wouldn't because you're a contrarian.
I don't know that. Honest to God, I might lean towards Bobby Witt Jr. The only part that I'm backing up is I don't think every baseball person would.
Put this out on the headline, by the way. Clark says O's were wrong.
Yeah, right. I might agree with that aspect of it. I don't agree with the everyone would say that part of it because I think that there is something missing where there are certain people that would say, we think there are this type of shortstop every year. We don't think that this type of catcher exists every year. And so it's what would be the football comparison to this? It'd be like looking at this class and saying, dude, you can get a wide receiver in every round of this draft that could end up being an impactful player, but there isn't an edge rusher in every round of this draft. I think that there are football or baseball people that would say to you, there is a Bobby Witt caliber player that, as they proved, not even in the first round, really, right? Like Gunnar Henderson was the 40th pick of the draft. They would say, we got our Bobby Witt, and we didn't have to do it at number 1 overall. We were able to do it much deeper in the draft. Is it an important text? If it is,
yes, I'm listening. It is important. It's about the rain today.
I thought you said it wasn't going to rain. I thought you said that was going to be.
The coach doesn't know that.
Hopefully they play today, yeah.
Well, I'm very concerned about the baseball game. Oh, you want to do your bit? Hang on a second. I'll finish my thought, then we can do your bit. We'll get there. Big pitching matchup today, by the way. God.
Who is this today?
Oh, wait a second. I'll tell you. Hang on.
This ain't looking too good out here.
Hang on. 2 things. I'm going to finish the thought. I think that they would tell you that, as you could see, who else has been selected at that point? What other catcher in the years that have followed was viewed? I guess Henry Davis was pretty close.
He's playing outfield now.
And he's played. Yeah, it's correct. They have Joey Bart catching.
believe so, yeah.
That's hilarious, right? That's really funny, isn't
Who,
it?
the
Playing last
Red
night.
Sox?
No, the Pirates.
I mean, the Pirates.
Yeah. They
He hit a home run off of it.
Joey Bart was supposed to be Buster Posey, remember? Like, he was
Mhm.
supposed to be the guy that was going to be Buster
Talk
Posey.
about
for the
pressure
next-
on a guy's shoulders.
I mean, it's significant, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. And then they just give up on him. It's sort of like, what's his face running around in Minnesota? Austin Martin. Austin Martin was
Yeah.
going to be Bobby Witt. Austin Martin was going to be.
he did catch last night. Henry Davis did catch last night. So I guess they're splitting time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing there.
Nice
All right.
flannel shirt, by the way.
All right, two things. One, the Orioles have decided on their pitcher for today. And it's not Bruce Zimmerman. And it's also not John Means. They're going with Albert Suarez to make the start.
Who?
Yeah, Albert Suarez.
Who is that?
Well, he
In a
was
good
one
spring.
of he was one of the two Suarezes that they brought in this year. And I did not realize that. Albert Suarez used to pitch for the Giants.
By the way, it's Suarez.
You have no idea if that's true or not. You have no clue what his name is.
Well, that's how you pronounce Suarez.
It could be that. Now you're fighting like Kyle Ottenheimer used to fight when I would say Angel Pagan, which everybody said was his name. And Kyle would be like,
Angel
well, it's
Pagan.
obviously Angel.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
no.
not.
You don't get to choose what somebody's
He's
name
got
is.
the accent over the A.
That's
Okay, but
fine.
but-
But everybody said Angel.
All right, but let me finish this.
Right.
It's not
okay.
Suarez.
Mm-hmm.
It's Suarez.
Right. You say that, and maybe you're right, but you don't know that. You're saying that because of other people that have that name. You have no idea what this guy wants his name to
I'm
be.
going to say Suarez.
You're wrong, too.
I want you to do that. I want you to do
I believe
that.
it's Albert Suarez.
It's Suarez.
Suarez.
It's just like
What he has to offer.
but it's just like in Ted Lasso
How?
with the goalie.
What about it?
Ted said his name wrong.
Oh.
Ted said it. Remember, he
Yes,
had the
but
French
the
name.
person gets to
yeah.
What was his
decide.
name?
I forget.
The person
like-
gets
well,
to
he changed
decide
it.
what their name is.
Zorro.
I understand.
No, not was it Zorro? It's Zorro.
I understand how you feel about it, but you don't get to decide what someone else's
wasn't
name
Zorro.
is. All right, for God's sake.
Thierry Zorro.
Was it Zorro?
It was Zorro.
See, he can't do it. It was Zorro.
This is going well. Albert Suarez
Well,
pitched
then
for
it was
the.
Van Dam.
You did it
I don't
again.
care. Pitched for the Giants in 2016
Now
and
you're doing it on purpose.
2017. I don't
Instead
care.
of just saying Suarez.
I'm not going to do it. Then he pitched in Japan for the last 4 years.
Man, this is some
And
show.
You're right. You're right. 1,000. Nobody's
Oh,
arguing. No one is arguing.
This is what happens if the Caps would have lost 2-1. I'd be meek as a mouse.
Great. Now you're froggy. That's what this is. You're froggy because of the Capitals. He's made one start for Norfolk, and he's pitched in 3 games so far this season. In 15 1/3 innings, he's allowed 19 hits,
Wow.
and he's given up.
But I mean, what are we doing?
He's only walked 1.
But what are we doing with this guy? You know why he's only
Yeah.
walked 1?
Yeah.
Every time he throws it across the
over
plate, they hit it.
Correct.
Why are we doing this?
Well, somebody had to pitch because
Oh,
Tyler.
okay, but this is it?
Right. The question, the thought when we heard this last night, the immediate thought was it's either John Means is scheduled to make another rehab start in Norfolk. Maybe you just say, hey, instead you come up and pitch here. Or Bruce Zimmerman was on track to pitch as well. I guess Zimmerman piggybacked Means in his last rehab start, so you let him make the start instead. Why it's Suarez, I have no idea. No clue why that would be the guy that would get the start for today's game. I couldn't speak to it, but
I mean, are
that's.
we just trying to lose?
I doubt that they're trying to
Who
lose.
are the Twins
Drew.
throwing?
Pablo Lopez.
Who's good, but hasn't been good so far this year.
He's good.
He's very good, but he's struggled to start the season. The Twins stink, which makes no sense because they have players.
Right.
But like Byron Buxton's off to an awful start.
Well, they could hit. I don't. Was their pitching any good last year?
Yeah, Joe Ryan and Pablo
Was it-
Lopez
was-
were both
was it good?
outstanding.
I know.
a
I mean,
year
they could
ago,
hit.
yeah.
Didn't they either lead or close home runs, right?
Yeah, they
last
set like
year?
a new record, I
Yeah.
want to say, for home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I couldn't explain
The
what
Brewers
the deal is.
look pretty good.
Brewers look really good.
Oh my god.
Brewers and the Royals look really
But the
good. too.
Brewers like hitting.
I
was
understand.
Insane.
And they're aggressive. And they're
Right.
constantly pushing buttons.
Right.
They're kind of doing the things the Orioles were doing to start this off that the Orioles have suddenly stopped doing this
Right.
year. Like, we don't really want to run anymore. We don't really want to take chances. And to an extent, you understand that you want to have faith in the hitters, and you want to say, we just think the guy coming up is too good. Like, who was it that could have gone home last night, but they stopped him at third, and you didn't understand it, but then you're like, oh, Gunnar Henderson's coming up next. I get it, right? Like, I get it. I can't even remember what the circumstance was last night.
Well, it wasn't Holiday because he never gets on base.
Well, he had a walk last night,
Yeah,
so you're wrong.
0-45.
wrong.
What are we doing with this dude?
Well, he's going to play. They're going to keep going for a couple of weeks, and then they're going to have a conversation at that point.
Not till Memorial Day, maybe.
No, I think they would make that decision sooner than that.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think they would make that decision because they've
100
already the
at
part that
bats?
matters is already taken care of.
Correct.
They needed to get him on the roster within the first 2 weeks. That part is taken care of. Now,
So you would advocate sending him back down?
I wouldn't. Not today.
No. But May 14th.
Oh, I don't even know that I would wait till May 14th.
Okay.
I would advocate that it would be okay to send him back down. I mean, if it's like this, if it's this bad, by the 1st of May.
Gotcha.
Absolutely, I would. This is the part of the thing that I said when opening day.
And you would do what with him then?
I would watch how confident he is and watch what your options are at second base. Like, this is to me, at that point, Connor Norby is your second baseman. Like, you're not playing the game of...
And Westberg will play third and
right. If Westberg ultimately is going to be your third baseman, then I'm not messing around with it anymore. Like, I'm not... Ramon Urias does not need to play for the Baltimore Orioles. There is no demand for Ramon Urias to play. You bring up Connor Norby. If you don't believe he can be a defensive
But
second
if you do
baseman,
that, then are you telling Holiday, you'll be back in June, or are you saying to him, not sure when you're going to come back?
I'm just saying you're going to go down and you're going to hit, and we'll deal with it when we deal with it. Like, this is my priority.
Because you can't do that with Norby either, though.
Why not?
You can't. No, I'm saying you can't bring him up and go.
Because if he's killing it, you're not going to bench him 100%.
Right.
But, like, I'm not. My concern is the team winning baseball
Put a note out,
games.
too, real quick. Clark says send Holiday back.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. My concern is not what's best for the psyche of these players. My concern is winning baseball games and making baseball decisions.
I don't think this is going to be an issue because I do think he'll hit.
Yeah, I think he'll hit too. I'm not all that
But
worried
I
about
also
it.
I said this last year about Gunnar when he got off to a terrible start. You've got to give them some number. You've got to give them and you don't have to hold to the number, but you've got to go into it with a predisposed. Hey, we're going to give this kid 100 at bats. That's 20-ish, 20-ish games, right? 22 games. We're going to give this kid 100 at bats, and then we'll evaluate it from 35,000 feet. If he's hitting 124, okay. What if he's hitting 209, but he's on base 360? Just as an example.
Absolutely matters.
Like, how do you? So I would just say to this kid, you got.
And in fairness, he got rung up on a ball 4 last night too, right?
You got 75 more at bats or whatever the number is, right? Go and the number could be 150. It doesn't have to be 100. I'm just using that number. Hey, we're going to give you this amount of at bats, and we'll see where we go.
100%.
The only way you would change that, the only way, would be if he were totally flatlining at the plate, and the team were losing. Not because of him, but if the team were losing, and he were hitting a $104, and the team was losing, then you might be like, we were going to give you 150 at bats, but we've seen enough at 100, and we need to bring somebody in that can hit. But they're not going to lose, so it's almost like a free ride for him, the way I see it. Tuck him in there on the 9 spot. Let's let him learn how to hit, and we're winning. So who cares?
That's the most part the way that I feel at the moment. But at some point, you can't justify this.
I mean, he did. You got to admit, I'm not piling on him. The first 2 series, he looked very overmatched.
Well, I think he looks like he's pressing on top of it. Like, I think right now it looks like he's not trying to do what's best for that at bat. He's trying to get 10 hits at once. I think he's pressing.
Right.
But that's, again, they're winning, and so to your point,
sure.
it's not the end of the
who
world,
cares?
and I'm not panicked about it. But at some point, you can't keep – this is the same thing I would say about Tony Kemp. You can't justify anyone who can't perform at this level.
At this level, we'd rather have him.
Like,
No,
you can't do that. And
Right.
if Jackson Holiday looks like this for another 2 weeks –
So that's your thing, 2 weeks, another 40 at bats
or so, something
50.
in that neighborhood. I mean, it's not it doesn't have to be a defined
That's
number,
what I mean.
but in that
if
neighborhood.
you say when we come back from the West
correct.
Coast,
Essentially, yes.
when we come back from the West Coast, if you're still hitting, .50,
yeah, we
then
can't just keep doing
then
this.
we're going to have to say to you,
correct.
Hey, you got 6 more games, and then we're going to have to make a call.
Go get your confidence back at that. I am not. It's the same thing I said about opening day. Well, what if he struggles and you have to send him back down? Then that's what you do. If somebody getting sent down is what's going to break them, then I think it was McPhail who said this. That you are always going to be broken by something. Adversity is literally part of the game. It is baseball. You fail more than you succeed in this sport.
Right.
If getting sent down is what ruins you, then something else was going to ruin you.
That's a good point.
I am
that's
not
fair.
afraid of sent. Who did we talk to that reminded me that Alex Rodriguez had to be sent down after he was initially called up? Like, this happens.
That was another Alex Rodriguez.
No, I don't think it was that. I think it was the one.
It was either Buster Olney or Tim Kirchner.
Like, this happens. Guys get sent down.
Right.
And it's not the end of the world.
Right.
It's
No, I agree.
You do that. If the team's done again,
Dude, 2 years ago, this kid was asking to go out to his high school prom.
right.
I mean, we really should, just for kicks and giggles, but you really should think about it like that occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
I go over here all the time and watch these kids play high school baseball right across the street.
Right.
I sat there the other night, watched them play Loyola, watched a kid got a ball hit to him at shortstop, and said to myself, 2 years from now,
That's what. Right.
this kid would be playing in the major league. Like,
Yeah.
not that kid, but you know what I mean. Jackson Holiday 2 years ago was the Calvert Hall shortstop.
Right. More or less.
Right, but
Right.
two
Right,
years
right.
ago.
I hear you. Again, I have two thoughts about it. The first being, the only issue that I had with the opening was just about PPI. That's all that I cared about.
Right.
What if this kid really is this good and you're just going to cost yourself what could be the number 31 pick in the draft next year?
Right.
That would be insane. So you took care of that. Now that that's taken care of, it doesn't matter if he gets sent back down. He was on the roster within the first 2 weeks. They've taken care of that part of the problem. So if he were to go down there and hit in Norfolk, come back up in June, and rip the cover off the ball for the rest of the season, they're good. They did the part that they needed to do in order to take advantage of it.
And it also does help that you have this, whatever you want to call it. Like you have this barrel of players.
Correct.
That you could use. And as much as I know you poo-poo Urias, like you do have some guys.
If that's your emergency option, it's
You
far
do-
better
right.
than a lot of
He's
emergency
not
options.
He's not a complete
Right,
flop.
Right.
You do have some guys. It's easier now than it would have been 6 years ago because with this kid, you might have won 74. Without him, you might have won 67. You were going to stink either way.
I add to it that I feel like the comparison to Gunnar Henderson and how long the Orioles allowed Gunnar Henderson to struggle a year ago will be significant. There's a two-pronged edge to that comparison. The first being Gunnar Henderson was doing it both defensively and even as he was struggling at the plate, if I remember correctly, his on-base percentage was still quite significant a year ago. So those two things do stand out that the issues with the pop-ups the first couple of days were bad, but those weren't really on Jackson Holiday, right? Like, he should not have been the guy going for those pop-ups. I have no idea why the outfielders didn't call him off on the first one.
The first one definitely was
Like,
Mullins.
I
don't know if Mullins was giving him the old,
it
hey,
felt,
big boy,
It felt like
you're supposed to be so good, you go get it.
No, I don't think it was that. It felt more like we want you to do. We want you to go make this play because we want to welcome you here. We want you to feel like you're a part of it. So we want you to have that opportunity. And that didn't work out. The next one was obviously on Santander, who just lost the ball, right? Like, that was his ball 1,000,000%, and he just had absolutely no idea where it was, and Holiday was trying to fly in to bail him out and couldn't get there. But defensively, he's looked, fine. Like, he hasn't looked embarrassing at second base, but he hasn't looked like a plus second baseman either. So it's not like there's anything right now that he's doing that says, well, you got to get him back out there the next day. I'm not saying he's got to go today, but if it's like this is you're trying to win a World Series, man.
Mm-hmm. No,
that's the priority.
I would totally agree with you. I mean, we might differ semantically. Like you may say give him 50 more, I might say give him 100 more, but we're
Right.
agreeing with the same thing. If this continues,
Yes.
You're going to have to go in and have the tough talk.
And the
with
trend
him and
matters
say,
too, right? Like if it's a bad week for the next week, but then the week after that he starts to show signs of breaking out of it, and you look at the numbers are like he's hitting 120.
And by the way, you're 6 for 20 away from hitting 215.
Correct.
Or 230.
It's a small sample size still that you're still working with. All right, Drew's here. Today's show is brought to you by Atman's Deli in Harbor Point. AtmansDeli.com is the website to check out all the daily specials. It's everything you loved about the original Atman's, which is, everything. Plus, they now have a sports bar. It's everything you could possibly want in one location. AtmansDeli.com is the website. Check out all of the daily specials. Griffin's weather
today.
report. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to play
Well,
today.
so because you're looking out the window.
Well, I mean,
What are you
yeah,
talking
it's
about
like,
they're not going to play. We got a golf match at 3
well,
o'clock.
no, you got to understand. Griffin, the way that I do this is I ask Griffin if they're going to play the baseball game, and all he does is look out the window and tell me what the weather is. So he
it's
hasn't.
thundering and raining
Right.
now.
He's not looking
so
at what the weather is
I
going
don't
to be at
think-
1 o'clock. He's just looking at what the weather is right now.
I did
and that's
look
how he
earlier,
makes his
and
decision.
it looked like it would clear up by the time. Well, like by 1:15ish maybe. So there might be a little bit of a delay. But that was earlier, and then Drew said the radar changed. So I don't know.
That would actually be good for me because I'm going to be
Yeah.
racing down to the
Well,
ballpark
that
after
didn't
the
sound
show
good.
today.
That didn't sound good.
So I would be in. You heard
Yeah,
thunder.
Well, that's thundering.
Yes.
It's thundering and lightning as we
Yeah.
speak.
Well, they couldn't play now. I do agree with that. They wouldn't be
Well,
able.
game
If
do-
first
they
pitch
don't-
was at 10:45, they
Where's
wouldn't be able to
Minnesota
play.
going after this? It doesn't matter.
Uh,
The Orioles are going to Kansas City. They could drive there if they wanted.
Well, they probably don't want to.
But
I'm gonna
just
guess that
saying, like they could play this game at 4 o'clock.
They could, although that wouldn't work for me.
Minnesota's going to the Yankees. Or,
Minnesota has a day off tomorrow, so they're
Where they're going
okay,
after
so they don't
that.
care.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
The Orioles have a day
they
off
don't
tomorrow
care.
too.
The Twins are going.
they don't start till
back
Friday?
Home.
Yeah, they don't start
They're
till
going back
Friday.
home.
Okay.
On Friday.
Okay, so they could play the game at 4 o'clock.
I would prefer they didn't.
But
That would be
but
would be
they could, I'm
disappointing for
saying.
me if they chose to play the game at
And
4
and the
o'clock.
weather looks fine at 3. We got to play against Gilman today.
All right, I can live with 3. 3 could work. I'm okay with that. I got a lacrosse game tonight, so I can't.
Oh, jeez.
I
You
got
and
to
your
step in.
work
lacrosse
around my
games.
schedule.
How's
Got-
Loyola doing, by the way?
They got 2 big games. They're tied for first place in the Patriot League all of a sudden.
Nice.
6 teams tied for first place
Oh, my
in the
gosh.
Patriot League.
At
All
3 and 2 or
4 and
something.
2. All of them are 4 and 2. They've got Navy on Friday and then Army the final week. When we come back in, I got to go over man of the match because we didn't really do it.
Well, who cares?
So we'll do that.
Are we
Shut
talking
up.
about the Masters or not?
Maybe. We got to do Would You Rather Wednesday.
Scotty Scheffler won, right?
Did he? Did he eke that one out right there at the end?
They could still be playing. Somebody said to me yesterday, was there any way Scheffler was going to lose? I'm like, yeah, if they were still playing today and he had to leave.
Right, because his wife went into
Maybe.
labor. Yeah, then maybe he would.
But if they were still playing today, if it were a 12-day event, he'd
all
still be winning.
All those other cats really looked like they wanted to win on Sunday.
Unbelievable.
They all
It was so eerily like
Tiger-esque,
Tiger.
right? They were all.
He just said, I'll just wait around.
I looked up and they're like this. He made a bogey, and I was like, oh, maybe this becomes interesting because I didn't want Griffin to win. No offense, I didn't want Griffin to win because like then it's an inside job.
Right,
you know,
sure.
like you didn't want that. And so he made a bogey. I'm like, oh, maybe there's a chance here. And then I look up, and everybody else made a double bogey at the exact same time. I'm like, okay, that's that. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was
there the Masters.
It was he birdied 8, 9, and 10, and by the time he got to 12T, he was 3 shots ahead, and that was the ball game. All he had to do was hit it in the middle of the green on. Once he hit it in the middle of the green on 12, we were doing doing the show, and I said to Kevin Fruman, you can start packing up.
Yeah, way to go doing a 2-hour show to be in the height of the Masters.
You can start packing it up.
It's over.
Yeah,
It's over at like 3:30.
right. Kev, you can put your stuff away here. This game's over.
All right, we'll come back in. We got to do Would You Rather Wednesday as well. That's on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Hartford Community College will host the National Junior College Athletic Association's 2024 Men's Lacrosse National Championship and Women's Lacrosse Invitational on May 11th and 12th at Hartford Sports Complex, 401 Thomas Run Road in Bel Air, Maryland. The semifinals on May 11th include the Women's Invitational, with the Women's North A representative playing the Mid-Atlantic B representative at 10 a.m., and the Women's North B representative facing off against the Mid-Atlantic A representative at 12:30 p.m. For the men's championship, the number 1 seed will play the lowest remaining seed in the quarterfinal round at 3:30 p.m. The men's number 2 seed will face off against the highest remaining seed at 6 p.m. May 12th is reserved for the national championship games at noon for the women and 4 p.m. for the men. Tickets are $20 each day at hartfordevents.com or at the gate if available.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out out Goose Flights Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
What company makes your home more energy efficient, purifies your air, kills all viruses, and qualifies you for $6,000 in rebates? A.J. Michaels Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis at ajmichaels.com.
Oh, honey, we better stop for gas soon. Let's pull into that Royal Farms.
Ugh, gas is so expensive.
Nope, it'll be cheaper than you think.
Why's that?
I signed up for Rofo Pay on the Royal Farms app. Now we save 15 cents per gallon at all Royal Farms.
Wow, that'll save us a ton of money. I love you more every day.
Well then, don't get a speeding ticket this trip, okay?
Sign up for Rofo Rewards and upgrade to Rofo Pay and save 15 cents a gallon on gas for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Back in here on GCR, Drew Forrester is here on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program.
Should, if you want to do this. I'm happy to do it. I mean, but we could have him do it. Do you want to call the Flyers and ask when the playoff?
I'm good. I don't care. I don't care. You can't get me to care.
You want me to call?
No, you
and
can
we'll
call
video it
from your cell phone, 100%.
And we'll video it?
Maybe during the next commercial break.
But we'll video it. We'll put it up online.
Should we just do it on air? Yeah.
No, I don't care about this topic. This is not something that I want to spend time on during the show.
But this could go viral.
Maybe.
And help Glenn Clark Radio.
Nah. If it associates me with something we don't talk about, then I don't think that's what we're looking for.
You want to video
It'd be a good bit.
Yeah,
during the next commercial break, 100%.
I'll call up there.
Yeah, I want you to do that during the commercial break. That's what I want you to do. Eric Edholm coming up at 11:15 this morning. We'll talk NFL draft.
That's pretty juvenile.
Yeah, is it?
It is.
Yeah. We did a bit.
But I'm doing it.
Remember the year?
I'm definitely doing it.
What was the year where the Ravens needed the 49ers to beat the Steelers on a Monday night? Do you remember? They lost a game they shouldn't have lost. Maybe, the year before they won the Super Bowl, this might have been the case.
I don't remember.
They lost a game on a Sunday in December.
The Ravens did?
The Ravens did.
Okay.
And because of that, the Steelers, if they beat the 49ers on Monday night, were going to go into first place by themselves.
Okay.
So you needed the Steelers to lose on Monday night. It was when the 49ers were still playing at Candlestick Park. And I remember, ironically, there was a power outage at Candlestick Park. So the game was delayed. And ultimately, the 49ers did win this game. But we actually our bit was to call the 49ers and offer them like a fruit basket. Like we just called the front desk at the 49ers like, "Hi, we'd like to offer a fruit basket."
How about crab cakes for life?
Yeah, you could do that. Derrick Henry, he's got that going for him. Man of the match last night was Gunnar Henderson. There's not a whole lot to say about last night's game.
It disrespected Grayson, I guess. Yeah,
Grayson was good. He was very good, but
he was pretty good.
He was good. Nobody's debating that.
It's the Twins.
Correct. Twofold.
I mean, I would have had 3 strikeouts.
He was gifted a huge lead. It was interesting to me. The one story
they brought up that Pasquale guy, whatever his name is, and gave him an at bat. Whatever that dude's name was.
Bonuelos.
Yeah, whatever his name was. They gave him an at bat.
Well, I mean, he was up for one day.
He
it was
just
sort of like
buzzing in on
gift.
the train, and they're like, go ahead.
Now you'll be allowed to say you're a Major League Baseball player for the rest of your life.
It was the greatest 21 minutes of my life.
Correct.
The girls, unbelievable.
Yeah, right. They're throwing themselves at me. So the only question I have from last night is they pulled Grayson after 87 pitches. Didn't let him finish the 7th inning. Didn't feel like there was any.
Well, he started the 7th. They get a runner on. And they pulled him because he threw 6 full, but I don't think
no,
he got an out.
He didn't come out for the 7th.
I thought he came out.
I thought he came out to start the 7th, and then they pulled him in the 7th.
According to like the running summary box score,
then the
like,
box score's right.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm not going to debate.
He definitely went 6 innings.
Johan Ramirez came in to start
the
the
7th.
Who?
Okay, so they pulled him at 87 pitches.
Okay.
It didn't seem like he was laboring. It didn't seem like he was, and certainly the game was not in jeopardy whatsoever.
And 87 pitches is on the small side, right?
No, but I get it. They still have it, and Grayson Rodriguez still isn't Corbin Burns. Like, they're still not at a point with his innings where, like, it's a certainty that he can pitch through October.
Right.
So, as I brought this up yesterday, they did the bit, was it 2 weeks ago, where Corbin Burns double-dipped, and they skipped Cole Irvin and said, you can pitch after
you
Corbin
can pitch
Burns.
against the employees.
Correct.
On the Sunday picnic.
And I wondered in that moment because all I was thinking was this bullpen is taxed, and tomorrow you're going to basically need a bullpen. They're starting Albert Suarez today. Suarez.
Suarez.
Thank you. I'm aware.
Suarez.
How can you both get this wrong?
Because you don't know if it's correct or not. You just know it's what other people with that name have gone by.
I feel like you guys are doing this to me on purpose.
Settle down over there.
You're testing me.
You're going to need your bullpen. You're going to need your bullpen today, period. So were they pulling him at 87 because they want to do the bit again where they bump Cole Irvin back and they have him start on Sunday on normal rest? And that's why they got him out of the game at the point that they did. Because otherwise, I don't know why you don't put him back out there for the 7th inning if he's not pitching again until Monday.
Okay, and what's your number of? This is where I might argue against it.
If he was at 98 pitches, you're not putting him back out there.
No. When he goes back out, what's his number?
Oh, I think you're putting him back out there and seeing how the first 2 hitters go.
Okay.
Like, if he's through the first 2 hitters at 95 pitches, then you're letting him finish the 7th inning.
Even if he throws 107.
Yeah, if it's that.
Okay. I mean, I just think there's probably a number that they say we have sort of a hard and fast number here. At 103 pitches, he's out.
Okay, that's
whatever
fine.
it is,
right? But I also some of that should matter.
But I also agree with you. Hey, well, let's trot him back out there. What if he goes ground out, 2 pitches, ground out, fly ball, 9 pitches?
Then we just bought ourselves an extra inning and one more guy we don't have to. Who did they end up putting in the 9th inning last night?
Bauman.
Well, I mean, got it.
Well, they
right?
called me. I couldn't get down there
So
quick
they were
enough.
like,
Bauman.
I guess we got to go with Bauman. So to be fair, that's not somebody that they did go entire B bullpen yesterday, and they do end up restacking to have all of the arms that they want to use available today. So to be fair,
but I would go with what you said. I would say let's throw him back out there and let's see what happens. Let's go batter by batter. Does this dude foul off 4 pitches, and does it take him 8 pitches to get the guy out or not?
And as I look at his pitch counts for his last 2 games, in Boston he threw 94, in Pittsburgh he threw 97. So they always have the option of after one batter saying, "Dude, you labored, you had to throw 10 pitches to get this guy.
I also think
we're done."
They would never say this, but I also do think they say it's the Twins.
Well, I understand that.
And tomorrow we will beat them 11-9.
Maybe that's part of it, but I do think that my question is why not leave him in then, right? Like, why not just say?
I don't disagree. I would definitely have said, trot him back out there, trot him back out. Go see what happens with the first batter. Can you get the first batter out in 4 pitches? If you get the first batter out in 4 pitches, but you got to remember, you have to have somebody warming up. And that does matter. In other words, you can't start the 7th inning with no one warming up, given that he has 87 pitches. That he's thrown 87 pitches.
Correct. Somebody has to be.
Somebody's got to be warming up. So
I agree. But the only guy that has to go in if you warm him up is Kimbrel, right? Like, that's the only guy in this bullpen that if you warm him up, you've got to put him in the game. You're talking about Johan Ramirez, so you warm him up and he doesn't go in.
I mean,
maybe Dylan Tate coming off the injury. Like, maybe I could hear that argument.
But I guess my whole point is, like, someone's going to be up anyway. Why wouldn't you just have the dude throw? Somebody's already going to be up. You're not going to have someone warm up. You're going to start the 7th inning and say, get Dylan Tate ready, or get Ramirez ready. And if he gets the first guy out on 3 pitches, you say keep him warm, We're going to find out what happens next.
Right.
And the next dude gets out in 3 pitches. You say, hey, we're going to roll one more batter with this guy. And if the next guy hits ropes one off the wall, and you say, okay, you're done.
And
if it takes him 6 pitches.
And my answer would be, because you're thinking about the potential of having a rubber match in Kansas City on Sunday, and you're either going to have to throw Cole Irvin, or maybe you'd prefer to throw Grayson Rodriguez in that game. And I don't think you can do this every time, but I think right now, as you're waiting for, and apparently Kyle Bradish looked very good, obviously, in a rehab start for Bowie yesterday. That's encouraging. I'm guarding myself a little bit when we have the conversation, but he was throwing in the mid-90s. I think the word was he was hitting 95, 96 on the gun. He was throwing his pitches, and he went 3 innings in Bowie last night, and he looked good. But when you have Kyle Bradish and John Means back, maybe is the more appropriate word to use there, if you have Kyle Bradish and John Means back, then you're not playing these games. And at that point, you don't need to bump up anybody in the rotation. But to minimize the number of times that Cole Irvin pitches before you get those guys back seems like a smart decision to me. Now, maybe that's complicated by the fact that you don't have Tyler Wells either, so you don't know who's going to make the next start, right? So who's going to start? This would be next Tuesday would be the next time they need this time through the rotation, right? They need a Tuesday starter. That's where they're at. They'll need a starter. They needed a starter today. They'll need a Tuesday starter.
Correct.
So perhaps in their mind, John Means pitches again for an inning, and he's ready to go, and he can start Tuesday in Los Angeles or Anaheim, I guess it really is. But in the meantime, I'm looking for every opportunity to have one fewer start from Cole Irvin.
Oh.
Every time, every chance I get.
For sure.
If I can manipulate this.
100%.
I'm manipulating it, and I'm saying we got an off day on Thursday. Grayson can pitch Tuesday.
Cole comes in and goes, hey, Skip, it's my turn Thursday. How we looking?
Yeah, right.
You're good. We'll get back to you.
We'll see you Friday. And if we keep doing this, if we can do this 5 times, then you know what we've accomplished?
Right.
One less turn in the rotation for Cole Irvin.
Yeah, sure.
That's how that math works. We got one fewer start out of Cole Irvin than we had to.
I have to assume if Means comes back and is – now I realize we lost Hall out of the bullpen, and that could be the de facto role for Irvin. I got to think, though, if Means comes back and he's healthy and you're 100% sure he's healthy, I got to think they could do something with Irvin, not Irvin specifically at the deadline, but they could do something with him and someone else of value. If there was someone they wanted to bring in, like a Burns.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Cease, but it's not him because he's already gone.
Right.
But if someone who was struggling at the deadline wanted to part company with a pitcher that had a year left, a full year, Irvin would be expendable. And
Irvin's
and wait a minute, and so would Means. In my mind,
that's tough.
And they got to package if they want a better pitcher, they're going to have to get rid of one of these kids.
Well, that's the point. The point is, I don't know what team is looking for John. Who's the team that's saying John Means is the difference? That's the guy.
If he makes 7 starts and he's 4-1 and his ERA
then
is
he's not
3
expendable to me at that point.
I don't know.
If John Means looks like John Means, I'm trying to win a World Series. I need as many pitchers at that point as I possibly can. I'm not. There's no world in which I'm thinking that way.
Okay.
No thought process.
Because you got to get. You don't gotta. But you have so many of these young players. I'm not including him now. But you have so many of these young players. Whether or not it's Norby, whether or not it's Mayo, whether or not it's Kjerstad. As crazy as it sounds, because of the catch he made the other night, it sounds blasphemous. It could be even Mullins. But if you're really trying to win the World Series, which we all think they are, and I don't know who I'm talking about when I say this, but if there's a pitcher available in July or June who's got a year and a half left, and it's not we're not talking about a maybe, we're talking about a Corbin Burns kind of guy, and you've got to give up 2 or 3 guys to get him for a year and a half. I think you're going to have to really look at that, and I don't think you should discount that one of those people could be Means.
I can't. It's twofold. The only unique scenario
that
that
might
works
be higher on Means than I am.
It's not that. It's that it makes no sense. You would have to find uniquely a team that's trading this year but thinks they can win next year. The uniqueness of that is extraordinary. You're talking about
I understand. That's why I said go.
Essentially the Mets.
That's why maybe.
Right? That's like the list.
It might be. But you also don't know who between now and June is going to flatline.
Maybe.
That thought they were going to be good.
I just think that it's such
But
an
I know what you mean.
extraordinary thought that you're going to trade with a team.
Well, the Marlins trade everybody.
I understand that, but I don't know that the Marlins
Right.
are going to operate like we're going to win the World Series next year.
I understand.
So I don't know who's looking for John Means, but it's a step beyond that, which is I need 6 pitchers.
I'll give you
I
a
don't
team.
need
I'm going to give you a
3.
team. Actually, I'll give you a team.
Okay.
And they're off to a terrible start. Will they still be terrible in July? Data will tell you, or history would tell you no. But what if the Astros are no good? What if the Astros are, because they're 6-13 or 6-12 now?
But again, you got to. Do they have a pitcher with an expiring contract?
I don't know.
This is.
I don't know.
You're trying to find something very unique. It's
totally
like a
understand.
unicorn that
I
you're
do
looking
think
for.
that we're. Part of this discussion is the different value and the different purview we have on Means.
Well,
you value him way higher than I do.
In the scenario that you painted, I value him that way. If John Means comes back and looks like John Means,
well,
you're out of your mind.
It's a catch-22.
Right, because you think he's just going to get hurt. Right.
No, it's a catch-22. If he comes back and he doesn't look any good,
then
he doesn't have any value.
100%.
If he comes back and he looks great, why would you trade him?
Then I need him.
Right.
Because I need 6 pitchers. I don't need 3. I don't need 2 really good ones. I need 6 pitchers.
I get it.
I need as many pitchers as I possibly can have to try to win a World Series. And if trading John Means...
Well, everybody on the White Sox is available.
Well, they don't have any. That's the problem. They don't have any pitchers.
So right now, they're 2-14.
I'm aware.
How many games are you going to win this year?
Oh, I don't know.
Orioles won, 47?
They'll figure out a way to win 60.
Zero chance.
Yeah, maybe not 60. I take
Zero.
I actually already backed
52
off of it.
tops. 52 tops.
I think that's a really accurate number, and I'm going to tell you something.
You think they could go sub 50?
Yes.
Yeah.
And look,
I started.
Green Turtle's one of our sponsors.
Right. Yeah, you want to do a Green Turtle lunch
no,
on it?
Here's what I would say.
Yeah.
If you're, we could do this for fun. Over the next 3 weeks, every single time the White Sox play,
I don't care.
Bet against them.
Right.
And on the same night, every single time the Dodgers play,
bet on them.
For them.
Yeah, and see how that.
And see how you do.
No, I hear you. Is that the White Sox calling? Is that who you got? It's the White Sox.
What's your total? I'll write them down.
I don't care enough about this. I don't. He just wants me to do a bit with betting.
I want to bet. Yeah. Well, you got a sponsor.
I understand.
You
got lots of sponsors.
Every single time the Dodgers play, bet on the Dodgers.
Right.
And on the same night, bet against the White Sox and see how you do.
We'll see how that goes. All right, Drew Forrester is here.
46 is their win total.
Don't forget County Sports Zone.
You have 2 wins so far.
County Sports Zone has everything you're looking for as far as high school sports coverage is concerned. Scores, schedules, rankings. You can play Pick'em for boys and girls lacrosse, baseball, and softball this spring, all at countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. We'll wait on Would You Rather. I wanted to dump into Would You Rather Wednesday. I'll go back to your thought for 1 second about who would be expendable. I'm not saying no major leaguers are expendable. The problem, again, being the major leaguers that you want to have being expendable are the guys that you're not sure what their value really is. Like Anthony Santander is obviously expendable. He has to be. He's a free agent at the end of the year. But you need a thumper in the middle of your lineup, too. So if you're trading Santander away and what you're getting back is a pitcher, then who's providing the hell in the middle of your order? It is a really unique circumstance where we feel like they have to trade away major leaguers at some point. But how is that going to work? And the Cedric Mullins conversation is the most complicated conversation of them all because it's not just about that catch the other night. It's about reminding yourself that whatever you think you have in a center fielder, you don't have Cedric Mullins. His range is unlike anything you're going to find. There is no comparison there. So
I'm not suggesting to trade him. I'm simply saying you have this massive pool of players.
I get it.
And you've got to pare them down. You don't have to pare them down.
Right.
But in order for you, if something is available of value, in order for you to pare them down, you might have to get rid of them.
I understand.
Now, if you said to me, we're making a deal with the Braves. I just used the Braves.
Right.
The first team came to my mind.
Right.
We're making a deal with the Braves. They've accepted A and B. C has to be Cedric Mullins or Santander. C has to be one of those two. Then I might give him Santander.
Yeah, that would have to be Santander.
I would
for
agree.
a couple of reasons. It would have to be that because
I would agree.
you feel like you have in your pipeline guys that can be your power bats in the coming years. And
Kjerstad could do that.
And maybe Kobe Mayo behind him.
Right.
Like, you feel like there is.
And I also think the Cowser's emergence, and I'm not ready to say he's going to be the MVP of the league or anything.
Right.
But it appears.
Why not? I thought you liked the team.
But it appears like this is legitimate. Like, it doesn't. I know he's not going to hit 360 there and hit, 60 homers.
Right.
But it does appear like he's found it.
I don't disagree, but Austin Hayes has felt that way a few times too. I'm not yet
really
ready.
Like this.
I mean,
like
Austin Hayes, the start of the last 2 seasons, looked like a rock star both years.
Okay.
I mean, like, I'm not saying that that's what Colton Cowser is.
Right.
I'm reluctant to say definitively that Colton Cowser is definitely a guy that is going to be a star in this league for 5 years. Might he be? Absolutely. But I'm not ready to say that yet.
Okay.
I mean, we've multiple times in the last couple of years talked about maybe it's time to extend Hayes and commit to him as the guy. Today, half of the town is ready to DFA him.
Right.
That's
well, that's not going to happen.
I understand that. Of course, that's not going to happen, nor should it happen.
Right.
But that's the reality. The reality is this is as complicated as you think it is. Like, we want it to be oversimplified.
Sure. This is the collateral damage, right? The nature of unintended consequences.
No.
Hey, we're going to finish in last place for 10 years, and we're going to get all these great players.
Right.
Then they get them all, and you're like, holy hell,
what
what
do
we
you do
with
with
them?
this? Right, correct. Right. That's where they are. All right, let's grab a break.
To the Astros' point, Justin Verlander. Like, what would you give up for Justin Verlander if, for some reason, the Astros are sellers? Like, how does that trade happen?
They would presumably still be looking for. They would be looking for major league ready prospects. They wouldn't be looking for.
But to his point, he's a 38-year-old making $45 million a year, coming off of an injury, and definitely, without question, is involved in some sort of chicanery with the ball. What
they all are.
I mean, not like they are in Houston. They got something else going on there. So I'm almost not even thinking about him. I'm not giving him $45 million. Now, that said, the Astros would gladly give you 22.5 of it.
Sure. If they could get a major league caliber prospect.
So maybe he is a good kind of example. Would you? I'm just saying this.
Right.
Do you give him Mayo and John Means for Justin Verlander?
No.
Okay.
And it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I need Means and Verlander. I need to trade minor
but
leaguers.
You don't need Means because you got 5 other guys who are better than him.
You do not.
Yeah, you do.
No. You have 2 guys right now. Maybe Bradish. Maybe. And I'm not giving you that. And then you, in this scenario, add Verlander. Now, you're assuming that everybody stays healthy at that point. That every single one of them is healthy throughout the course of the season.
You down on Kramer?
Kramer is absolutely not. The guy that you just talked about that John Means would be, Kramer's not close.
Are you down on him, I'm saying?
Kramer is expendable. Kramer is, if you have to, he's your 5th starter. But if you can do better, you do better.
It's the man bun, isn't it?
No, it's that he's just not consistent enough.
It's the man bun.
He's really good at times, and then he's not good. Like, the idea of Dean Kramer being okay, well, that's fine. The idea of Dean Kramer being a guy that you have to have in your playoff rotation is nuts. That would be a bonkers thought process.
Good Dean Kramer.
Yes, if you could get that.
Right.
Again, if this is the same conversation, if you're saying that Dean Kramer is pitching that
pile
way,
on Israel.
Jesus, I'm sure that's what I'm doing here.
Jeez,
if Dean Kramer pitches the way you just described John Means for 4 months,
we just have a different value on John Means.
I need
you
them
think
both.
He's Dave McNally?
No, you told me that. You said John Means comes back, is healthy, and goes 7-1, and looks like John. You just said you premised this with that.
I know, but I should have not done that.
If you hadn't done that, we're having a different conversation.
Okay, he's 2-5.
And by all means. You can go.
I screwed the whole thing up.
You screwed it all up. NFL Draft next with Eric Edholm. It's GCR.
Hey, it's Jeremy Kahn. This postseason, bet in person at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks with locations in Canton and in Towson, and enjoy the best in-class sports wagering experience at their state-of-the-art facilities, bringing an unmatched sports betting thrill.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor, dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan-favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Oh, honey, we better stop for gas soon. Let's pull into that Royal Farms.
Ugh, gas is so expensive.
Nope, it'll be cheaper than you think.
Why's that?
I signed up for Rofo Pay on the Royal Farms app. Now we save 15 cents per gallon at all Royal Farms.
Wow, that'll save us a ton of money. I love you more every day.
Well, then don't get a speeding ticket this trip, okay?
Sign up for Rofo Rewards and upgrade to Rofo Pay and save 15 cents a gallon on gas for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com. What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis. AJMichaels.com.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out Goose Flight's Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
Good impression is knowing. Again, is that what you're saying? We're back on the air now? Hi. Glenn Clark Radio. It's the show that we do. Drew Forrester is here on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. If you missed Stan, Ross, and Luke, they got together on Monday, as they do every Monday,
Luke.
Talking baseball. Luke Jackson
He's
joining.
here?
Not that Luke.
Oh.
He's still. God bless him.
Last of the Mohicans.
It's unbelievable. I met with him one time and just said, "Yeah."
Wow.
And he was like, "I don't know, man." Hey, buddy.
Hung on, huh?
Well, you know Luke.
Yeah.
I
don't blame him. I mean,
that's who he is.
you don't have to even go in.
But
Who doesn't want that?
Our Luke Jackson, Stan the Fan, and Ross Grimsley get together every Monday talking baseball. Facebook.com.
You guys love this
Sports.
draft.
It's a big deal. Not sure if you heard.
The Caps beat the Flyers last night.
And you care, and I love you.
And if we talk about the
by the way,
draft.
if we were doing radio in D.C., I'd do that.
All right.
I'd 100% do that.
At least this guy knows what he's talking
That's
about,
for
unlike
sure.
you and I.
Eric Edholm, NFL.com. He is with us this morning here on GCR. 8 days out from the start of the NFL draft. Good morning, buddy. It's Glenn. Drew Forrester's here with me. How are you these days?
Yeah, can't come fast enough. I mean, I'm actually pretty good. I told somebody the other day, it was sort of the kiss of death. I said, this draft season's kind of flown by.
You there? Did we lose you? Oh, man.
That's sort of par for the course time of year.
We got you back. All right, Eric.
Yeah.
So we know how many you've posted, but how many, just sitting at home drafts have you done this year? Like, how many times have you
80.
Gone to the simulator and gone through all the scenarios? How many of those have you done?
Yeah, this week I've actually played around more than I probably have previously. I mean, obviously it's a good tool to use those things and just sort of keep everything lined up and make sure you don't forget anybody and all that stuff. But if you include all my like Google Sheets and everything, all my spreadsheets that I do, and plus the draft simulator stuff, I would say I probably do 20 to 25 in a draft season, but I only publish 3, so it's a lot of practice for not much in return, I guess.
All right, so I'm going back. Have you posted a third one yet, or is the most recent one still number 2?
Due tomorrow, I guess I'm turning it in tomorrow. So
Okay.
yeah, it's coming soon. I don't know if it's posted Friday or Monday, one of the two.
So last time out, you had the Ravens taking Tyler Guyton, the tackle from Oklahoma. Will that still be the case in mock draft number 3?
The question is whether he'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm not quite to that pick yet. I think I'm about halfway through round 1, and if we only get like 5 receivers, I could see, there are a few teams that are looking at both wideouts and offensive tackles. DBs are another one where you could see a 4th or 5th corner slip in there. So you never know. You got to get through a gauntlet of teams there. Green Bay, Dallas, a few teams picking kind of right ahead of them who could be in the tackle or guard market. So it's about a 50-50 shot whether he's even going to be on the board at that point. And the other thing I've kind of noticed is that teams have these offensive linemen rated differently and all kind of in the same range. But I'm also seeing, the guy that I have 4th, some teams have 2nd and vice versa. And, so there's a lot to sort out there.
Eric, I'm going to ask it in this way. If we assume, and I think everybody does, the Ravens' biggest areas of need are offensive line and edge rush. And I get that, like maybe they could go cornerback, right? Maybe that they could. I just feel like if you're picking at 30, it's one of those 2 spots. Where is the drop-off between if this guy's there, you take him, and if these guys are gone and this is what's there at 30, then you really do want to find out if someone loves Michael Penix that much and move back because you can get somebody at 40, 42 that's basically the same player.
Yeah, I guess at offensive tackle, the questions would be, is Tyler Guyton, Amarius Mims, the kind of the top group of tackles, Troy Fautanu, again, some people see him as a guard, Olu Fashanu, et cetera, all J.C. Latham, et cetera. If all those guys are gone, then the question is, probably the next guy up would be Jordan Morgan from Arizona, another guy like Fautanu, who's sort of viewed as a possible guard, possible tackle, depending on, how strict you are with, length and all that stuff. So, yeah, he'd be kind of the cutoff. He'd be like the B- pick. I think he's a good player. I really do. I think I might even like him more than other people do, in media circles and stuff. So I think he'd be worth taking there because I believe he could probably start at one of those spots early on. But that's kind of the cutoff there. Chop Robinson might be the last. It's hard to say because there are a couple guys like Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan who some people think could even sneak into the end of round 1.
Wow.
With his traits. He's sort of George Karlaftis-ish a little bit, He's stretched. He's just sort of a name that's bubbled up recently, but I don't think every team thinks that way. I don't know, so I believe it's probably down to like if Chop's off the board and, that may push them in a different direction. Corner's tricky too because, you may only get 4 in round 1 and there may not be – Kool-Aid McKinstry might be that, sort of Ravensy pick that I could see as a third option there. So that would be one that you'd consider, I think.
Let me go that route then. Who would the cornerback be that even if – like maybe one of these offensive linemen or edge rushers was there, if this cornerback was sitting there at 30, you take them because you'd be insane not to if this player was still sitting there at this point.
Yeah, I would say probably Cooper DeJean, maybe the guy that probably makes the most sense. I'm trying to think of, a scenario where it really, somebody else higher than that. I'm not sure. I would think it's probably DeJean. Now his workout went really well the other day. He missed a big chunk of last season. I don't think there's any chance Nate Wiggins gets through round one, but maybe. I mean, or at least, to that point, number 30. He's 173 pounds. We're kind of going through the Emmanuel Forbes debate like last year, and of course Forbes struggled with the Commanders last year at times. I think was put in a bad position. The thing with Wiggins is, can he hold up on the edge both as a tackler and, as a guy who could maybe press people at the line? I don't know. That's going to, again, depend on scheme and team and all that. But the way he ran, I think he's probably going to go in the first 29 picks somewhere. Same with Terry and Arnold, same with Quinion Mitchell. So there's going to be at least 3 off the board. The question is, do teams view Cooper DeJean, A, as an outside corner, or as B, kind of a hybrid?
Yeah.
Is he more like the Kyle Hamilton type player who can play multiple spots? And is that something the Ravens want? I don't know. That's what you have to kind of ask.
Eric Edholm is with us, NFL.com, talking some NFL draft.
Any chance at all Mims is there when they pick? I know I had heard before Ravens kind of interested in him, depending obviously on which category they're going to go or which position they're going to go. But any chance he's still there or no?
Maybe, but I mean, it's such a small sample size with him. I think he's got 8 starts in college football. I've had some teams say, look, just like raw talent, he could be better than Joe Alt, who's projected to be a top 10 pick. I mean, he's extremely gifted kid. I remember hearing some of the same things about Isaiah Wilson, of course, who was a train wreck of a first-round pick a few years back. And, it was probably true, too. I mean, the talent wasn't the question. I don't mean to compare them in the sense that I think Amarius Mims is Isaiah Wilson 2.0. That's an extreme example. But it's a reminder that you don't have a huge body of work to go with. And for a team like the Ravens, like the Cowboys, other teams that have smart, deep, talented scouting staffs that have been together a while and kind of know each other's strengths and weaknesses, I think that's the kind of place that I'd love to see him go. Teams that have identified a good offensive line talent in the past, had success developing, et cetera. Those are the kind of teams that you would feel better about him going to. So fit is crucial with him. Do I think he's there? Probably not. Maybe the Dolphins could take a chance on him. Cowboys certainly in the market for line. I would say there's less of a chance of him being there than maybe Tyler Guyton, but you never know.
Gotcha.
Eric, I've come around. It's not going to be wide receiver in round 1 for the Ravens. I'm more and more convinced of that. I still think that they could be well served to look for a bigger, a 6'4", a prototype type of receiver. I keep hearing that this is a deep draft, that like the guys that are available in the next couple of rounds are guys that are good football players, but do any of them fit that? Like in the 2nd or 3rd round, is there a prototype wide receiver that will be available later? I mean, I don't. Can Keon Coleman fall that far in the 2nd round to be available? And then on the speed side too, because I also know that there is opinion that is held by a lot of people of, look, you got a Lamar Jackson offense, just keep putting speed on the field, stop overthinking it. So give me the rundown 2nd, 3rd round prototype, and then just burner receivers that might be there.
Yeah, among the bigger guys, I think you hit on a key name, Keon Coleman. When he ran a 4.6 at the combine, I thought, even for his size, that wasn't the number I was looking for. I was hoping for mid 4.5, something like that. It's a fraction of but there were still people coming into the combine. The question was, can he separate? Can he run? He makes so many contested catches, which is great, but you also are playing with a higher caliber defensive back in the NFL, and he may not be able to make those same kinds of plays he did in college, but great body control strength. He's got the whole package except for that takeaway speed. But I think 2nd round is really the good spot for him. Xavier Leggett from South Carolina is a really interesting one. Total height, weight, speed prospect. Got all the tools, had a high volume last year, was, the Gamecocks offense was a mess just because of the offensive line and everything. And they had to force the ball into him, and he still produced. He's one of those guys that, snap-to-snap consistency may not be there, but the talent is oozing. I mean, he's really, really interesting. So I think with wide receiver, I don't know what the exact number is, but I would say around 20 or so receivers that I feel pretty good about. Not all of them will work out in the NFL, of course, but that's sort of where the depth is. I think, end of round 3, early round 4, you're going to notice a drop-off at receiver. So finding that sweet spot is the key, right? I think it's got to be prior to day 3 for you to feel comfortable about getting an impact player. I mean, obviously there are Puka Nakuas every year, or that type of guy, 5th round, 6th round, who does better than expected. But this year, I feel like it does drop off. It's really good up top, questionable after a certain point.
Which, again, maybe plays into the idea of acquiring some more picks and moving out of that 30th spot in order to get a few more 2nd and 3rd round picks.
Hey, Eric, it seems to me like over the, last few years anyway, but maybe I'm just wrong on it. I'm not paying attention enough to the combine. It seems like the personal dive, if you will, that these teams used to do on players is diminishing a little. Am I misreading that, or are they less interested in all of that? If you had the choice between a tiger and a snake, which one would you be? Like, are they still doing a lot of that at the combine, or are they stepping off of that a little?
Yeah, I think some of like the armchair psychology stuff is maybe being phased out a little bit. Obviously, the combine meetings are such shotgun dating situations, right? You move from one chair to the next every 18 minutes, and you barely get time to figure out who these guys are. But that's more of just a kind of meet and greet thing. Sometimes they like to throw them off balance to see how they react. I will say this. I mean, I think one of the reasons why J.J. McCarthy has, I think, captured and seized the moment during the pre-draft process is because of the meetings.
Okay.
Now, maybe with quarterback, it's a different set of rules. I don't know. It's hard to know when you're not in the room, but just talking in general to people, I mean, he's kind of charmed people along the way to the point where it's like, wow, maybe there is some intrinsic quality in his leadership and some intangible element of him that can't be denied. So I think in some ways it has been diminished, right? Like those psychological tests and all that stuff that can be, forgotten by draft day. It's really the talent in the person, right? But you still got to know who the player is. Do they have the work ethic? Are they committed? Were they selfless? What kind of traits are we talking about beyond just the crude material that they have?
All right, before we let you go, Eric, in order to make a trade, you would assume, I guess it's possible that somebody could trade up to get the 5th year for a player in another position, but you would assume that would have to be for a quarterback. You have all of the other guys going fairly early. In fact, in the last draft, you had the 4 quarterbacks going 1 to 4. Is there an appetite for Michael Penix? Is there, does that exist? That a team could be looking, would it require one of these guys having some sort of absurd fall, or could you see a scenario where somebody really still wants to get the quarterback at the end of the 1st round and somebody could choose to trade up to try to get Penix?
Yeah, and a quick side note before I forget, I have heard there are some teams calling around about trading into the back end of round 1, or at least, early stages that could be for offensive line too. So that applies obviously to what we were talking about early. So
okay.
Carolina, Washington both have early 2nd round picks, extra picks that they can move up with too. So just throwing that in the backdrop. Now to your Penix question, I mean, I think it's almost to the point where some people are speculating whether the Raiders can afford to pass on Penix if they want him. Again, we don't, but if they can afford to pass on him at 13,
wow,
in the sense that hey, Denver may not take Bo Nix or another quarterback at 12, fine. But what if they move back? What if they slide back 5 or 10 spots? What if they go a little farther than that? Is Vegas going to be in the position to get Penix prior or, in between then? I don't know that they know that, or they're going to have to trade back into the end of round 1. So I would say the clock on him starts at 13 and probably ends in that Ravens area, which is trade out or trade in zone. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's feeling to me like he's going to be a first-round pick come next Thursday.
At Eric_Edholm is how you follow him on Twitter. You'll see all of his stuff, including before the end of the week, mock draft number 3 at NFL.com.
Yeah.
Eric, is there anything else you can plug?
I love when they the Ravens draft their wide receiver and they show him real quick, and he's got tears in his eyes. No,
if we can get that, I'll be. I mean, whatever, man. This is the best time of year. I love that kind of stuff. So
I didn't mean tears in his eyes.
Yeah,
I didn't mean tears in his eyes in a good way.
Yeah. They throw the ball now in Baltimore, Drew. So that's over.
Yeah, come on, they do. Absolutely. You want to play with Lamar Jackson? I hope so. Yeah, but yes, I get what you're saying. So
Eric, appreciate.
That's the deal, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for spending the time with us. We'll talk again after the draft. All right.
Cool.
It's Eric Edholm.
If you're a wide receiver
NFL.com.
and it comes in 410 comes in, you just don't answer.
For a long time, that was definitely the case.
I'm not taking this call.
I'm good. I don't know that that's the case any longer.
How's that buddy T-Sizzle doing, by the way?
He had a bad day.
How'd that go last week?
He had a tough day.
How do you get in a fight with somebody at the Starbucks?
Hey, man.
I mean, of all the places. It's like
strange.
Friday. It's like, what's his name get fired on his day off?
Right.
Stealing boxes.
correct.
I didn't steal any boxes.
All right, let's do Would You Rather Wednesday. It's brought to you by Glory Days
Yeah, I gotta
Grill.
get going soon because I got
man.
a match.
Well, do you have something that's wrong with this country?
It's on.
Do you have something pressing, or do you want to wait till next week? There you go. You go. You can just wait till next week. It's fine.
Okay.
Let's do Would You Rather Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory
Well,
Days
what's wrong
Grill.
with this country is we got a witch hunt going on up in New York.
Oh, there you go.
With this guy. Did you hear him yesterday? He came out and had an impromptu press conference.
And he basically admitted to the crime.
And said,
more or less,
this is whole thing is a setup.
Yeah, as he was admitting to exactly what he did. Right.
We're gonna find out. 20. We'll be.
He's like they're charging me with falsifying records when all I did was falsify the record.
Right. But we're gonna find out 20 years from now. It's all gonna come out.
Yeah.
It's all gonna come out. That it's all been a totally orchestrated skit by like New Zealand.
Okay. They arranged all of this.
They did it all.
This was their warfare.
This was it.
Everybody else is dropping bombs. They're like, we're doing one better.
It was like the Undertaker came back like 4 times from the dead, right? We're gonna find out it was always part of the plan that he's actually from New Zealand. I'm just telling you.
I don't think that's going to be the case, but I hear you. All right, let's do this. Would You Rather Wednesday. Right. It's brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Glory Days Grill. Steak and frites, just $16 every Thursday at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, glorydaysgrill.com. Would you rather, numero uno, looking ahead. It's funny that you were talking about trades earlier. Would you rather that the Orioles make a trade at the deadline? It's to rent Pete Alonso at the price of Connor Norby and Seth Johnson. Or it's to acquire Jesus Luzardo from the Marlins, who's off to a terrible start to the season, but is Jesus Luzardo and has a couple more years available at the cost of Norby and Samuel Basayo.
Well, I guess I would ask you, what is Alonso doing? What kind of season is he having?
I mean, I'm assuming a Pete Alonso type of season.
Okay, so you're
getting
trading
Pete Alonso.
They're trading. Okay, so they're trading him not because he's scuffling,
because
but
he's
because
a free agent and they're not going to win anything.
Right.
Yes.
I would take him.
Okay.
I would take Pete Alonso
at that price over acquiring a pitcher.
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I would.
I think I would take Alonso as well. Yeah.
It's interesting. Almost everyone has come in on Luzardo so far.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And I get it. Like it's the control. I think is the difference.
I think
here.
I am. Maybe I'm putting too much stock in his first 3 starts of the year, but
Yeah, I probably. But here's the thing too. The bizarre part is the people that are like, "Well, what are you doing with Alonso? You have like, what back asswards world are we in where you're worried about what you're doing with Pete Alonso? Like, I love Ryan Mountcastle to death. I think he's a fine baseball player.
I would say
fine.
Fine
is what I said. I said fine.
Fine's over-amplifying, but
I disagree. He's fine. He's a fine baseball player.
Okay.
I think Ryan O'Hearn is a very helpful
Eddie
piece.
Haskell was a fine young man too.
Settle down over there. I think Ryan O'Hearn is a very helpful piece who's off to a great start to the season. This is nonsense. You figure it out.
Yeah.
This is Pete Alonso we're talking about. Holy hell.
He's a 50 home run
This
guy.
is the definition of overthinking things.
Right.
Is, well, what does that mean for Ryan Mountcastle? Who cares? You have Pete Alonso. Jesus. Like, imagine.
Well, if you had him, then you'd really be.
I'm looking into it. Well, it's actually Jesus is the other guy
Gotcha.
that we were looking at.
See
Jesus
what I did
was
there?
the argument. That said, I'd still probably default to the pitching, and I'm just not as panicked about Basayo, giving up Basayo. I'm not.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Just the way people have talked about him,
I hear
feel
you. I get
a little
it.
more if
I
you
get
don't want
it.
to give him up than Seth Johnson.
I get it. Well, yes, obviously, but you're only getting that guy for a half a year, where the other guy you're getting for
He's gonna hit you.
a few years. Might be the difference.
It's
Go
a
ahead.
personal question. Do you get offended by people who name their kids Jesus?
No. Why would I be offended by that?
Maybe Moses.
I kind of do.
You think that it's offensive to your Lord and Savior?
A little bit.
You don't think it's
Well,
an
I
honor?
don't even know if a little bit. I just don't. Why?
You don't think it's an honor? I'm pretty sure in Latin culture that's the way that it's been, is that you name someone that in order to attempt to honor your religion.
I guess I would have to talk to somebody in that. I'd have to find that out. I'd do a deep dive on that.
I'm reasonably certain that
Okay.
that's the history. That
All right.
the idea is we want to show honor to our Lord and Savior. But no, I'd be the wrong person to ask about this topic, obviously. Anyway,
That's funny. Margaret said the other day if they had another kid, they would name him Donald.
Right. We batted that one around for
Like
a little
that.
while. We decided, we weren't going to go
what I
that
did
route.
there.
Yeah.
I heard your rag-arm kid, by the way, got a win the other day in baseball.
Did he ever? Struck out the side. Man, he was pumped. He was so pumped.
I love it.
He was feeling it.
I love it.
He's got a really nice swing. Like he's still getting through the once he makes contact. Like I still have to work on finishing. When he'll take cuts, and it's the most natural swing you've ever seen.
Don't worry.
You're
When
like,
he
where did
goes to
that
that
come
school on
from?
Charles Street, he'll get ruined. When you
We're not-
guys do that to him.
I'm not convinced that's where he's going.
You better not.
I don't know that he can afford that. He better be good at baseball. He better keep working on pitching. I can't afford any of these places. All right, number 2. Would you rather? As it turns out, Brandon Ayuk actually is available.
Oh.
And
he said he wasn't.
I know, but he will come to the Baltimore Ravens and sign a significant
deal. Right.
if you part ways with the first-round pick and Rashad Bateman. Or, you got too many needs. That's not the way to go about doing things.
I got to give up the first round, the 31st.
30th.
30th, I mean, and
Bateman.
And Bateman. I got to give it up the 30th and Bateman. And I get Brandon Ayuk. Here's the way I look at it. This is probably not the right way. I just look at it like, am I willing to give up the first round pick for Brandon Ayuk?
I understand exactly
Bateman
how you're
is
looking at
eyewash.
I don't, in general, I don't agree with that, but in the context of this trade, I would agree with that because you'd be replacing him with another wide receiver. But in general, to say Bateman is eyewash, dude, you don't have – your wide receiver depth is non-existent.
He's going to catch 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the Ravens.
Maybe. But, you don't have any depth at the position all of a sudden again. He is not – he has to work this year.
How old's Brandon Ayuk? 29?
I don't even think he's that
28?
old. No. I would say he's 26.
Is he really?
He's still on his rookie deal.
Okay.
You think he came into the
He's
league
been in the league
at 25?
Just turned 26.
Yeah. What do you – that math doesn't work at all.
Okay. Take it easy.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, I think I would do that deal.
Okay.
I'd give you the first round pick for him.
Okay.
I think so too.
Here's what I would say. I would definitely do it if on your board you were convinced, or not convinced, you were convicted that you were going to take a wide receiver.
But I don't think they are. I don't think there's a chance.
You don't know that. If the
I don't know that.
Right. If the Ravens were interested in a wide receiver at 30,
I agree wholeheartedly. I'd rather just have Brandon Ayuk. I agree with that, but I
would do that.
I don't believe that's the thought.
I also feel like it might not even be that expensive. Like a first, that's maybe a second rounder.
But that's not
Bateman.
Stop it. You're trying to do. Stop
you're
it.
doing it again.
Stop it.
Just stop. I'll do it for you.
I asked the question.
Let me just do it. I asked you the question. Answer the question the right way. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Answer the question.
It's would you rather?
Would you rather Wednesday?
Ayuk, yeah.
Jesus. This is
amazing. Where'd I get this guy?
By the way, those guys are already starting to pop up on Twitter. I don't think it'll cost you a first round. I didn't ask.
That's not what we asked you.
I didn't ask that.
It's Glenn Clark Radio.
If you want to go somewhere else, and if somebody asks, do you think it'll cost a first round to pick to get Brandon Ayuk? Then share your opinion about that subject.
Right.
I didn't ask that question.
Free the birds.
That's not. I don't know where that came from. That's very odd. Sure,
They're free
things
now.
They are free. How's he doing? Is he back in?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think while Greg Bader's there, he's going to be in.
I don't think he's ever going to be back in.
I'd think that
if he got a job at a real place, like I mean that with all due respect, like that thing doesn't
I think
doesn't really exist.
I think as long as people are there that were there, he could go work at WBAL and he wouldn't get in.
That I agree with too.
Now,
I'm saying in the future, I think his only path would be working somewhere
else.
Once
the staffing changes there, if it does, I'm presupposing it does. I don't know that it would. But once the staffing changes there, then he's got a puncher's chance, I think. I almost would say this. He's way better. I say this all the time. You're better off on the outside than on the inside anyway. Gives you way more content. What are you gonna do when you get in?
Right.
I mean, this is
the hot dogs are warm.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
There's a lot of that.
Right.
There's a lot of.
Right.
I could name names of people that offer nothing.
You're better off for content. You're better off being locked out.
I don't know that they do any of that. That's the problem. All right, number 3. Would you rather? Oh boy. Would you rather somebody you don't have a brother. You do have a brother.
I do.
I mean, I have one close. Right.
Best friend. You're someone who's a serious impact. Like they're a part of your life.
Okay.
Tells you, I got to admit something to you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And what they're telling you is, I haven't told you this, but I've been secretly dating, and I'm now engaged to your least favorite ex. Like your worst. And if you don't have one of those,
you got to make it up.
If you don't have one of those, replace it with the worst person you know.
Right.
The worst person you know.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Yeah. Well, that'd be weird. That would be odd if it was your best friend, but I get it.
Right. Okay.
That's scenario 1. Or scenario 2 is they have something they're admitting to you. They pull you aside. I got to tell you this. Okay. They tell you they have been spending thousands of dollars to create an AI girlfriend online. This is a thing. This is a straight shoot from the New York Post. It's only a matter of time before someone builds the next billion-dollar dating app that will pair real-life users with artificial intelligence-created girlfriends, according to a tech executive. Greg Eisenberg, CEO of Late Checkout, wrote a blog post on X in which he shared that he met a man in Miami who, quote, admitted to me that he spends $10,000 a month, unquote, on AI girlfriends.
I don't buy it. I don't even think. I don't
Answer
buy
the
it.
question, Drew.
Yep.
No, I don't think.
It's Would You Rather Wednesday.
I don't buy it.
One
I
scenario.
don't even think this exists.
It definitely exists. One scenario.
There's no
is,
way somebody is that stupid.
You say, "Oh, Drew, have you? Is this your first day in this country? Are you
It's
new
one thing
here?
to spend
We do a segment called "That's What's Wrong with This
It's one
Country."
thing to spend $10,000 a month on a girl in Poland, which I don't know that people do, but I heard a rumor they do.
Yeah. What would the
TV show
difference?
about it, actually.
What would the difference be here?
Because this girl doesn't exist.
Right. But if you're not seeing her, if you're not there's no physical touch. What would the difference be between the girl in Poland and the girl that's not real? Didn't you watch that?
This is the worst question you've ever asked.
Who was in that movie, Her? I remember it was Scarlett Johansson was the AI.
That wasn't Joaquin Phoenix, was it? No.
It might have been. No, it might have been Joaquin Phoenix. I think that's in
Come
fact
to your house and chew
Chew
gum.
gum. It's a shame you couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen now.
All right. So in one scenario, your best friend
You can,
is with your worst ex or worst person.
that's fine. And you can have her. Enjoy it. See what you can get out
But
of
they're
it.
going to be a part of your life now.
Oh.
Yeah, you're not thinking about that.
Oh, you're saying I'm a
This
kid?
person is in your life.
Oh.
There's
don't
no
care.
getting around. Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right.
I let stuff go. Stuff
With the frosted tips and everything?
I don't hold grudges.
Yeah.
Stuff goes right off my back.
Oh, right.
You know.
How you feel about the Flyers?
Well, that's a different story.
What if he's dating the Philadelphia Flyers?
Right. Then we're in trouble.
Yeah. What if that was the case?
Then we're in trouble.
I wish I could name a Flyer. What if he's dating Ron Hextall?
No, whatever he's dating Travis Konechny.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
I don't know. How much are they spending a month on?
Thousands of dollars.
Thousands, not
Yes.
1,000.
Thousands of dollars.
Thousands.
Maybe not 10,000 like this person was, but
Most of my-
a lot of money.
most of my friend-
money
most of my
they can't
friends-
afford.
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
money they can't afford. It's a problem.
Oh, jeez. Or they're engaged.
To either your worst ex or the worst person
Right,
you know.
right,
The
right.
worst person you know
Okay,
that
so
is now going to be a part of your life?
I guess. So I can't just stop being friends with him. I can't
No,
just disassociate with my brother.
This is your best. This is person. Stop it. You're trying to get out of it. One or the other. My God.
I guess. I guess
It's my show.
You can't handle would you
guess-
rather. One or the other.
I guess.
We know they're not good
You know
scenarios.
what? Yeah, we're going with the AI one because then we're going to turn this
Impacts
into
you
a TV.
the least.
We're gonna-
Oh,
no,
you're
turn
making
this
a-
into a
you're
TV
making a
show.
documentary
this is
out of
like
it?
a vlog series, and
What if he
people are
doesn't
like,
sign up for that?
If he's imitating an AI person, I don't think he's going to care what anyone thinks.
I would say the AI situation impacts my life less. Like, it's disturbing.
Yeah.
I'm bothered by it, but it has less direct impact on my life. I don't have to deal with the AI girlfriend.
Well, I mean, if it's
I
like,
gotta
hey,
go.
you want to go to the
All right.
O's game tonight? And he's like, well, I'm out.
What do you want to plug something? Are you on the radio
Yeah,
on
4 to-
Sunday?
4 to 6, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on full time now, 4 to 6.
Okay.
So this week it's live, and then the next couple weeks it'll be taped.
Oh, you
'Cause I
got
got
him
stuff.
to move the time, and you're gonna.
I'm not around.
This could go well. We got to be on during the golf tournament. Everybody wants the updates from the RBC Heritage.
I'm not around. I'm going to Houston.
Enjoy Houston. What are you doing down there?
Playing in a golf tournament.
Of course you are. Don't you have golf season going on right now?
Yeah, today. I got to go. We got to go beat
But
Gilman.
how do you have time to go fly away to Houston to play in a golf tournament in the middle of your golf season?
Because
I got questions. This sounds a lot like Urban Meyer a couple years ago. I'm going to go hang out in Columbus. You guys can fly back to Jacksonville. Drew's like, oh,
Losers.
you guys got John Carroll on Thursday? Enjoy. I'll be in
Oh,
Houston hanging
I'm
out
never-
with Fred
I'm
Couples.
never missing a match.
Are you sure?
No, I don't miss a match.
What if the flight gets delayed?
I'm not missing a match.
What if the flight gets delayed?
Is this on my shirt? A tick?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a Rice Krispie.
All right.
All right.
What you- Saving it for later.
See ya.
There's Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com. Continue to get me responses for Would You Rather Wednesday. Somebody will be picking up a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. I was really hoping that I would have the print issue of Press Box to hold up. It is new Press Box Day, but I don't. Oh, John Colson. There it is. I feel like maybe.
Oh.
There it is. Look at that. Look at that guy right there on the cover. Big start last night. 6 innings. That is the. Oh no, you don't get one. I'm sorry, Griffin. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to have a print issue of Press Box. I don't know if he made the cut. There it is. Grayson Rodriguez on the cover as Luke Jackson dives into Grayson Rodriguez's path to perhaps becoming the Orioles' next homegrown ace. Go pick up that print issue today at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. I'm encouraged. Look outside.
Yeah, it's drying up a little bit.
Yeah, this ain't.
Yeah,
we're good.
I think maybe the rain started earlier than it was supposed to. So yeah, it worked.
So you think they could start at 1?
It may start. Yeah.
Then I gotta make my move. I gotta start getting
the Raku Wako tweeted of the tarp on the field is out.
Oh yeah, I do need to know. What's the status of the tarp? Let's get that. That is the most important news that we're going to get today. The status of the tarp and how quickly I need to get out of here and how much of the post-show work that I have to do.
17 minutes ago, tarp is off the field.
Oh hell yeah, we're all in. We're all in. We're going to the game.
On time.
All right. I did this. I read the print and it's in the next. So let's go ahead and do a tidbit and then we'll take a break and we'll do tubular. Just did things a little out of order. Tidbit is brought to you today by Ruth's Chris. Whenever I say the words Ruth's Chris, I can hear the sizzle of the plate, and it just puts me in a mood. Thank you. It's almost as good as Stan's from Friday. Whether you're celebrating a special milestone, whether you're entertaining clients, even if you're just enjoying a well-deserved night out, like a date night, let Ruth's Chris show you that ability to provide the best service, give you the finest steaks, and a level of hospitality that has made them one of the most revered names in steak since 1965. Make your reservation right now, ruthschris.com. What you got for tidbit?
Yesterday, all right, so hold on. I'll preface it like this. This comes from OptaStats, by the way,
Okay.
on Twitter.
Are you saying that in case it's wrong?
I guess so,
Like
yeah.
you're trying to get out.
I mean, I
this
try
isn't,
to.
This isn't
associate-
me.
I try to reference all of.
Yes, I do appreciate
all
it.
of
You
them.
didn't come up with these numbers. Somebody
No,
else did.
Yes. In the last century, so 100 years, there have been 2 baseball teams that have had a game where they hit 4 doubles, 3 triples, 2 separate innings of scoring 4 or more runs, and hit a grand slam all in the same game.
Say that what list again? 2
Grand slam,
right?
2 innings of scoring 4 or more runs, 3 triples, 4 doubles, all in the game. One of the teams to do this was the 1927 Yankees, and they won the game that they did this in 21-1.
Okay.
Which, checks out.
All right.
The Cubs did it last night as well, and they lost to the D-backs.
So weird.
They lost
That's
12-11 to the D-backs.
So weird.
Yes. And then, so also the Orioles have now they've homered 3 or more times, in 4 straight games.
Seems good.
Yeah, with home runs from O'Hearn, Gunnar, Mullins, Westburg, Cowser, Adley, Mountcastle.
It's the first time since 2013, right?
Correct.
And who are the 4 guys you're going to ask? Because
there were
I didn't
8
bother
guys.
to check. Or 8, yeah, who are the
May
8 guys?
21st to 24.
I didn't bother to check that, and I'm regretting that.
How many
now.
of the 8 guys can you name that hit a home run during this
I
stretch?
did see that it was 2013, so I'm going to assume Chris Davis.
Chris Davis, 3 home runs during this stretch. So Ryan O'Hearn essentially replacing because O'Hearn homered 3 times during this stretch.
So let's just play the hits. Adam Jones.
Adam Jones homered twice.
Manny Machado.
I guess that's Cedric Mullins this time because Mullins homered twice.
Okay.
Manny Machado did not homer during
how
this
about
stretch.
bum? They were right to get rid of him. Matt Wieters.
Matt Wieters did hit 1 home run during this stretch. Adley, of course, hit 1 home run as well during this stretch for the Orioles.
J.J. Hardy.
J.J. Hardy did hit 1 home run.
Show me J.J. Hardy.
During this stretch.
All right. So let's go with 2013. I'm trying to do the math on when certain guys
There's
arrived.
one more that you should definitely get, and then the other 3.
2013. Let's try Nate McLouth.
Nate McLouth did, in fact, hit 1.
How about...
Wasn't sure if you get him.
How about 2013? Because that wasn't Scope yet.
It was not Scope.
That would be...
At least he wasn't on this stretch.
That would be 2013. Who was Brian Roberts still playing second base in 2013?
I guess I should pull. I got rid of the box score. I don't know who was playing second base. Roberts is not on the list.
It's not on the list. All right. How about Ryan Flaherty?
No, not Ryan Flaherty.
That would have been fun. Yeah. How about? Oh God. How about? Was that a Wilson Betemeet?
It was not Wilson Betemeet. One of the games, I have no memory.
Markakis.
Yes, Markakis. He actually hit 2 home runs during the stretch.
That's
yes.
shameful.
2 more remaining.
Two more.
Second baseman during one of the games was Yamaiko Navarro.
God bless you. I don't know what that means. My head hurts.
I did not. Alexi Casilla played second base one of the games in this stretch. So it's just an Orioles thing. They don't have a second baseman ever.
I'm trying to remember which of this group. So that wasn't Paredes. That was afterwards. Was it Valencia?
Danny Valencia did, in fact, hit a home run during this stretch.
Like there's that group of Betemeet, Young, Paredes, Valencia. You don't really know. It's sort of the way that I feel about Rio Ruiz, Renato Nunez. You remember Young, of course, because of the one hit. Pedro Alvarez goes into that group as well. Like a group of guys that you couldn't remember what position they played, what year they were here, what they did.
I know.
It was a parade of guys that were
was Valencia before they were good?
They were bats, but they were kind of bats. Like, they weren't big bats. They were just bats-only guys. I need one more.
Yes.
Was it the backup catcher?
It was not the backup catcher. Do you know who the backup catcher was?
Was that Taylor Teagarden?
It was not Teagarden.
Who was it?
Chris Snyder.
Oh, I only vaguely remember Chris Snyder. I don't know.
He played outfield.
Played outfield.
Let's see what he most recently was up to. Oh, okay, never mind. That was towards the end of his career. Oh, you know I'm.
It's not Nolan. It's not Nolan Reimold, is it?
It's not Nolan Reimold. That would have been.
So I think he still was there in 2013, if I remember correctly.
I think he was there. Was he there? I feel like he was there like longer, like 2016.
I don't think he was still. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he played with the team in 2016.
But did he leave and come back then, or was he just hurt that he wasn't on?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He did. So 2014. He was there in 2013.
Yeah.
2014 was the year he was not.
Yeah.
There, and then he came back. Played 100 games in 2016.
Outfielder. Man, I gotta go.
He started his career in Cincinnati. pit stops in Milwaukee. He was a Yankee.
Not Patterson. Dickerson.
Chris Dickerson.
I swear to God, Corey Patterson and Chris Dickerson are one person in my mind.
Half the time I confuse because
But
that guy
one
Corey
of them,
Dickerson played for a while, too.
I was there a year they clinched, and he hit a massive 3-run homer to win a game, and I can't remember which one of them it was. Because those two have become one person in my mind.
Well, the only year he was with the Orioles was 2013. So
Dickerson? So then it had to be Corey Patterson.
Yeah, it had to be Corey. But
or maybe they. What years were Corey Patterson here? Wasn't he here?
I thought he was going before. Yeah, 2011
was his last year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then maybe they hadn't clinched. Maybe I've just again.
Somebody
hit a 3-run homer, and I remember it being electric at the ballpark, but I don't remember any of the other circumstances about it.
2014 clinch miss or
Griffin?
You don't know.
I don't remember anything. Dog, it's over a decade ago.
Well, I hope you remember today's game.
I hope so too. All right, Tidbit was also brought to you today by County Sports Zone, countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. They got the latest and everything you need to know in high school sports this spring. When we come back in, we'll get tubular and wrap it up for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com. What company makes your home more energy efficient, purifies your air, kills all viruses, and qualifies you for $6,000 in rebates? A.J. Michaels Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis at ajmichaels.com.
Whether you're celebrating a special milestone, entertaining clients, or simply enjoying a night out, count on Ruth's Chris to deliver you the finest steaks, the best service, and a level of hospitality that has made Ruth's Chris one of the most revered names in steaks since 1965. Make your reservation now at ruthschris.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor, dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan-favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Luke Jackson profiles Grayson Rodriguez, talking to people who have been part of his path as the Orioles hope he'll become their next homegrown ace. Also inside, we remember legendary Maryland basketball coach Lefty Drizel with stories from legends like Roy Williams and Bobby Cremins about what it was like to go up against the old left-hander. Press Box is available at over 500 locations around Baltimore, including 60 Royal Farm stores. You can also find the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Jeremy Kahn here. The ultimate sports betting experience in Maryland is at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook. Join me at either location in Canton or in Towson and place your bets in person and be a part of the action. It's the best in-class sports wagering experience, complete with the ultimate TV package, ensuring you can catch every game all day, every day. Their state-of-the-art facilities bring Las Vegas energy right here to Maryland just in time for postseason football. So visit the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook in Canton and Towson and elevate your game day experience and hang out with me to bet, watch, and win at the Turtle.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, we are winding down for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Continue to get me your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday, presented by Glory Days Grill. Someone who participates, and we had a tepid response to that. I don't know what that was all about today, but somebody who participates is going to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill, free to use on their delicious wings, ribs. I was just over there last week. I was over there. I got
It's a good day.
I did
always a good day to go.
I did the Honey Old Bay cauliflower wings. Was the play for me that day, and I was very happy with that choice. GloryDaysGrill.com. All right, here's your Tubular rundown for today. Tubular brought to you by the Green Turtle. Griffin, tell me about the Green Turtle tomorrow.
Free $10 bets tomorrow and every Thursday at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson or Canton, and you can use it on whatever you would like. Of course, baseball. Now the NBA play-in. I guess it's not technically the playoffs, but you call it the NBA or the basketball play-in. And
I don't know. Just keep going.
And go to the Green Turtle because you can experience the ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. So be sure to check out the Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton at the Green Turtle. Pick up your free bet and make some money while enjoying some food and some sports tomorrow night.
All right, Orioles Twins, apparently at 1 o'clock. Pablo Lopez, Albert Suarez, stop by, buy me not a beer, whatever else you can purchase for me instead.
Yeah, they
some
can
peanuts
play.
or
They can
something. Maryland women's lacrosse at Princeton. That's a weird late-season non-conference game. 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN+. Big one for Stevenson. They're at York tonight at 7. That will likely be for their conference regular season title. You can watch it on York's website. As Griffin mentioned, playing tonight, Heat Sixers at 7, Hawks Bulls at 9:30. These are bad teams involved with this.
Well, the Heat and
Sixers are fine. The Hawks and the Bulls are bad. Like, isn't one of them legitimately like 10 games under 500?
I think they both are.
I mean, it's embarrassing.
Like in the East, they should have just cut it.
It's embarrassing.
Maybe they make the rule if you're under 500 or if you're X number of games
then
under
we
500.
cancel that. No, they sell the inventory. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
those games are on ESPN tonight.
Just let the Sixers and Heat be in.
It's the way it's going to be. Masson 2, Nationals, Dodgers at 3, MLB Network, Giants, Marlins now, Yankees, Blue Jays at
Hawks
3.
Hawks are 36 and 46.
So embarrassing.
Bulls are 39 and 43.
They're great.
I mean, yeah, respect
yeah,
them.
Right. Guardians, Red Sox at 7. MLB TV free game, Padres, Brewers at 1, TNT, Maple Leafs, Lightning at 7, Blue Stars at 9:30. Champions League, Leg 2 for Man City and Real Madrid at 3 on CBS. Paramount Plus for Leg 2 between Bayern Munich and Arsenal at 3. TBS for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8. Some non-sports highlights.
New episode of Survivor, Abbott Elementary on ABC at 9. Oh, it's the season 22 finale of Family Guy on Fox, as Family Guy has been on Wednesday nights the last couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Because they just have too many animated shows now on Sunday nights.
Okay.
So from they air from 8 to 10.
If you say so.
And so they have too many of those now. So Family Guy got moved over to Fox to come behind Masked Singer and Animal Control.
I like Animal Control. There is a show in there that I like.
And Family Guy right after that.
I'm not going to watch. Tapped out, I think.
I
mean, I hung on a lot longer than other people did. I think I tapped out 5 years ago on Family Guy. I saw a story recently where Seth MacFarlane said he would never stop making it. Like he's trying to do the Simpsons thing, like where like you just make it for forever.
I imagine I'll probably come back to it at some point.
I don't think there's a chance in hell that I'll come back to it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess
it's over.
It's not appointment viewing.
Yeah.
Disney Plus has a new episode of The Bad Batch and X-Men, of course. On Netflix, there is a new nature documentary called Our Living World, and it's narrated by Kate Blanchett. Looks pretty good if anyone's just looking for a nature doc. And then on Hulu, Under the Bridge, the new series that I talked about, Riley Keough.
Which is not about the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No, it's not. It's like a pretty dramatic little thriller, I think. And then Rob McElhenney and Chris Stapleton on Kimmel.
Are they touring together? Because I'm interested.
Wrexham season 3 is coming in May.
They did a bit Stapleton was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live, and then they had him do a pre-recorded sketch that was a song about like a psycho ex trying to get revenge, and it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Check it out.
Did you say Wrexham?
Yes, in May 2nd, I think.
I like that.
So that's
I'm
what
a
Rob
big fan of
McElhenney was
that.
talking about.
Was this going to be the first season because they got promoted?
I saw a spoiler for
don't
next.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I do not pay attention, so it's not my concern.
I mean, I was kind of disappointed.
Why would you? That you saw it, or
yeah,
by
I saw the spoiler.
Okay.
I was like,
why would you? All right. Thanks today to Drew Forrester and to our new morning show, Eric and Eric Hosmer and Eric Edholm We'll get all of it up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything tomorrow?
We'll talk some baseball. We have our weekly trip to Bowie.
Okay.
TBD who it is, but we will talk to Bowie.
Okay.
And then Russell Dorsey will join us as well.
Yahoo Sports,
Yes.
or he's also
He was
with
doing Apple TV.
Apple TV. That's what
Yeah.
he was doing. Yeah.
Stuff and things.
Okay, Stuff and Things. Thanks to everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners. Stuff and Things. They're good. They're good partners. Ruth Chris,
Yeah.
Live Casino and Hotel, Atman's Deli, AJ Michaels, Guilford Hall Brewery, Royal Farms, Costa Sin, Hartford Community College, Glory Days Grill, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday. Go Birds, Maryland Women's Lacrosse, Stevenson Lacrosse, Duke sucks.